Okay, there we go. I don't know why, but on my PC, every once in a while, I need to refresh Wavelength's audio feed intake. That's a little bit weird. I don't know why it does that. It's really weird. But what is up? Happy Thursday. Good old Thursdays. For a long time, our best performing day of the week. I can't imagine why. Wait a second. Wasn't there that thing that we done on Thursdays? I don't know. Probably a long time ago, there was some sort of tournament thing we done. Would be nice to get back to doing those, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's not time, I guess. But, I mean, maybe it's almost time. We should have something to announce tomorrow. Hype it up. Get excited. That's right. KPMM may not be that far away. We had to resolve a few issues and kinks, but I think we're almost there. Thankfully, it took long enough. Anyway, I was looking at what we could actually cast today. There's a few things that come to mind. There are some games that Crackly played. There's also some games that Doomy played off stream that we can have a look at a little bit later. There even also might be a Mahodo game. I think he ran into Recon on the ladder. So lots of fun things looking on. We're going to start off with a good old Hill and Dale game between Crackety and a Chinese player that I'm not entirely sure of the identity of. Yeah, they play a bunch of custom games against different people all the time. Snack is Recon? That's the suspicion. So someone who is not Recon flagged a game to me that included Snack and Kilyadi. But the account is from the UK. The account started last season. It feels a little like Recon. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's right, Mahodo's like, oh crap, he's back. It just became harder to make money in tournament. Hear him! The pizza and chips boy has returned. Oh. So we're going to start off with the Crackety versus this Chinese player. The Chinese player whose account is ranked, I think it was, 21st. So really, really high up there. Thought it'd be a cool way to actually kick off the stream. Having a little bit of a look at like China. China's always a region that seems to deliver to us. So 1 second, because I've got like a bunch of things open I don't want open. I'm just closing a few tabs here. I had a bunch of work I needed to sort out alongside the KPMM stuff, so it's been busy. But glad we're finally able to get online. Sorry it took a little bit longer. I was aiming to be live at like an hour earlier was the dream, but more like a delusion. But is everything going to work nicely? Oh, that's right. We had our camera up here for when we were showing something off. We want to be back down like here. Well, that's weird. Why is the I need a refresher. There we go. And also, why is there not a preview? Can we agree that is a sick Might and Magic background, by the way? I love that art. Oh! Remind me a little bit MSN. I might have to look at that one. Thank you. Oh, God. I love melons. Anyway, let's get ready for first game of the day, rather. China is taking over. No, seriously, have you guys seen the top ladder of Age of Empires 4 recently? They're everywhere. You cannot avoid them. And Crackety may not be able to avoid this scourge. That's right, we've got an East versus West to find out who's best. On the north side, actually playing as the Asian Civ, weirdly enough, is going to be Crackety. Crackety, who has been grinding it up. I think he got up to rank 8th on the ladder while everyone was flying back from the LAN. Said he wasn't going to bother playing on the account anymore. It's time to lock it in, get a secondary. But no, here he is. He continues. He's going to be up against a player that we're not quite sure the identity of. This guy is ranked 21st in the world right now. And he's ironically a Chinese player playing as a European Civ. So you see why this is also just kind of like poetry comedy. Hillendale's going to be the map. French versus Japanese is an interesting matchup, actually. I feel like we haven't seen it as often recently. When we last saw it regularly in the meta, it heavily leaned towards the French. And the reason is that the French were able to scale to usually arbitrary and just invalidate the Japanese advantages. Which is interesting, because if you guys remember, the way that this game first began, this matchup first began between Japan and French, is that Japanese had a really big advantage because in this matchup, at first, players just spammed heavy cav. And the reason that was better for Japan is Japan, with the deflective armor, had this weird interaction where French knights, when they charge in, are meant to get bonus damage after their lance connects. But against deflective armor, they weren't getting that because when you hit a deflective armor, that means you technically done no damage. And for the French knight buff to activate, you had to register damage. So really weird little interaction there. But over time, it's just shifted to a way that like French are able to hunker down and just play a static comp into the fort phage, which favors French pretty heavily. So curious to see how Crackly wants to try and approach that detail in mind. Opening is okay, nothing too crazy. It looks like they about even Stevens the sheep, especially with what remains of the map. Actually, Crackly might get a little bit more up here in the northern corner. But we already have Play Onto the Deer coming in from the French. So actually, no, then Crackly, yeah, he must have done better. Yeah, he did, because he's been eating the sheep while his opponent has not. Interesting that Crackly did not mirror the play onto the deer, by the way. I think it's a little bit better for the French, just because you get the discount on survival technique, so it's an easy investment. Whereas Crackly has been doing this different build recently, guys. It's back again. The last time we watched this build, it was a complete meme fiesta up against Dimu. I wonder what he's got in mind for us today, because he says he keeps optimizing it more and more around this early stone gathering. Not for the TC builds, but actually for getting his hands on those glorious early heavy cavalry units. I wonder actually, like, is this the best form we've seen so far? Because I think this was very clean on his tech, actually. We've had earlier versions where he's holding way too much food in reserve. There's the Daimyo level 1 triggered. So he's able to now produce a bannerman. He hasn't even aged up yet. But when he does, the idea here is to drop a stables, and then you get the Uma bannerman that is basically a knight. The cool thing about this, by the way, is that knight only takes 15 seconds to produce, and it does have the deflective armor behavior. It also is very tanky in general, regardless of the deflective armor. Cool idea here, but a little bit ambitious maybe against French. I don't know. I think the idea here that could be good for Crackety is if he's able to get to level 2 quick enough, then he can keep the French knight count down because you'll have 3 knights to fight back with. The challenge here, folks, is going to be getting that much stone because Daimyo level 2 is not cheap. 600 stone. That is a lofty investment. To kind of put it in perspective, a TC would cost 750 resources combined between wood and stone. So there's barely any difference there. And if you think about the impact usually of going like 2 TC versus French, there'll always be 3 knights ahead of you. I think that's the big challenge Cracker's going to have here. And remember, also from an economical standpoint, you're up against a Civ that gets more villages over time. I mean, we're 4.5 minutes in the game. It's 2 villager eco lead already for French. Walls are going to be going up. So Crackety, he's trying to lock himself in, but that is not going to be allowed here. No. Red scouts it out early. Gets the block. Crackety's like, oh, screw it. If I cut out my wall, you can't have your doner kebab. In fairness, Crackety is a German. They kind of have the right of refusal to give people doner kebabs in the world. Well, I know what someone's going to say. It's a Turkish delicacy, but in fairness, so many Turkish people live in Germany now. Germany inherited the right. That's just how it works. Crackety, gonna get that wall up. Wait, we have a villager from the French? He'll burn the wall here. Scout's gonna body block here. He's gonna go wider now to try and torch this down with the knight. Wait, so wait, why is there a villager from Red's base here? Was he going to try to outpost rush? And if so, why? Break on the wall. Knight's going to ride in. He doesn't have the charge. However, with the scout's assistance... No, come on, Red. That was a kill. He needed 2 hits for the scout, and the scout was about to do another one, and then another one between the scout and the knight, right? Oh, wait, no. He's right the back way. My maths was off. He didn't get the charger tool. My brain is so used to it to being 24 damage because of the extra you get from the charge. Well, it's 23, right? And then it becomes 24 if you get the blacksmiths. So Outpost Rush is an interesting one here. I guess it's worth it if he gets it up because the map, more than anything. Hill and Dale, look at the gold spawns. You don't get anything else in your base, and look how far away the next options are for Crackety. He's aware of where they are, but it doesn't feel good to have to go out there. Yeah, it actually kind of feels like Crackety got screwed on the spawn. Sometimes you see these gold spawn close to tree lines in a way that they can be kind of enshrouded. But this is very much in the open. And that's bad news against French Knights. So Crackety, he has to take a beat in a different direction. It's going to be into the Spearman. We do have the stables, though. It's going to start off with the Scout, but there should be the Uma Bannerman afterwards. My concern, though, is I'd love to actually see Red just build an archery range here. If he does that, he's already going to have the Cart play on the front line with Knights coming in. I think actually building your archery forward like this is pretty underrated. I would love to see him do it just because people don't. And the reason why people don't is obviously if you get pushed away, you can't use it anymore. But the upside is you already have counterplay to mirror counterplay right in your enemy's face. And it plays very well into things like French Knight spam behind because those Knights are going to come across the map quickly, unlike infantry. But instead, Red is turning this into an eco game. He's gathering on the stone. He's going for 2 TC. Also just keeping up the pressure. Knights. Oh, that's so annoying. We fixed this behavior. It rarely happens anymore. It happens a lot still. Knights always able to just find a way. Get those kills through walls. Very frustrating for Crackety. Any eco losses feels pretty unacceptable right now unless you want to go 2 TC. The amount of stone is gathering, it looks like it. The problem here, right, is like he would like to get Uma Bannerman, but he hasn't got the gold. He's actually 4 short. He'll get it shortly off of the stone gathering. But the problem I now see is like, okay, great, you're going to get extra Bannerman. But if you don't have any gold, you can't get Bannerman, guys. That's the big problem here for Crackety. So he needs to resecure soon, and that doesn't look likely with the fortifications that the French have committed onto this gold. Not just that, the Knights are guarding on the east side. Crackety doesn't have the gold for siege engineering. So where do you go? Do you sneak to the south side of the map? Do you take a risk down here? I think he might have to. The only alternative is trading for the gold to get siege engineering to then clear the outpost. But that's a huge advantage for Red, guys. Like, Crackety is in a really, really rough position right now. It's only going to get rougher as well. Steel Arrow to follow up. I wonder if Red just plays full greed if he sends it. Judging by the walls, I think we're just getting complete greed. What is it with players like this? I mean, you know, this is, I feel like this is traditional Marine Lord logic of like, I've got a big enough advantage off this play, and now I'll just play the numbers game. You have to come to me. It's like, oh, okay, I respect the style. But you have now inspired another nation of gamers? I don't know. What on earth happened with this wall? Wait, is that not open? That really looks like it should be open, but yeah, I think it's closed off, weirdly enough. I wonder if Crackety knows what's really happening. Like, he has to, right? You're against French. They're very good aggressive, but they're not in your base at all right now. There's only one reason they wouldn't be coming to you, and that's because they're playing Pat a Cake at home. Archer range is getting prepped. Honestly, I think this isn't even about archers. Red's probably just preemptively setting things up for castle. Because what we said earlier, Arbitrary wins this matchup. Arbitrary destroy Japan. Is this KPMM? No. Why would you think that? That's just silly. Haven't even announced KPMM Season 2 yet. It's happening tomorrow. You guys are getting ahead of yourselves. Calm down. Calm down. Crackety under pressure now. He did go for siege engineering. And then he had to pull the Spearman to chase the Knights. Oh. Every second matters here, folks. Inevitability is swinging. The castle age soon to arrive for the French, who already have over a 10-worker lead. Crackety, for all his efforts, he can't even afford to really use these bannermen in an aggressive fashion. He has to use it for this fight with a tower, which he should have beaten anyway without the bannerman. Knights are going to leave, I think. No, he actually... Okay, that was a bit greedy, Red. Okay, no. Do not touch the ram. All right, the ram is definitely off limits. He's like, well, I don't know, man. You never know unless you try, right? Pokesy is like, oh, God. Well, it looks like the tower's going to go down. So he achieves that objective. And now we should be getting the gold rush. Yeah, he's going to wall up just to make sure there's no return into his base. Human Bannerman will be able to chase down and kill off the villager eventually. But I think you're happy with this if you're France. Guildhall is on the way. You've got 2 TC. Crackety has been over-gathering food. He's like a squirrel foraging and saving for the winter right now. Too many nuts. 2,000 food, and he's got 67 gold. Why do I see a French outpost of the Japanese gold? Is it the other way around? Not these days, baby. No. Come on, let's be totally real. French versus Japanese. I mean, I think it's very hard on this map in particular for Japan to go for that outpost rush. But also, the Dark Age Rax plays have fallen off in popularity for Japan, except for certain civs. Since the Diashav got removed, it's not as valuable of a proposition as it once was. French Knights are going to have chivalry soon. Good time as well, as a few of them have been injured. I think he actually lost 3 of them, so Crackety did get some good value there, but the wall's already up that he just encountered. He can't really wait for the ram, so his only choice now is to mirror the play. Credit to Crackety, by the way. He was gathering so much food for a long time. Yes, he has a huge burdensome amount on his hands, but now when he ages up, he can thrust that into action, right? He's going to have all this food to kind of swing around. It's just kind of like, you know, when sometimes we watch watch Dimu, rather, and Dimu loves to do this. Same Marine Lord, actually. Let's gather a lot of one resources, then switch to the other. It's that type of playstyle that's being forced on Crackety here. Would it be more optimal to have not had this happen? Of course. But can you now do a lot with this? Yes. So have the stables drop nearby. Some weird gates coming through from French. And, oh, wait, what? Why am I seeing archers in my Arbitraire game? Yo, this is a bit odd. The idea here is usually meant to be Arbitraire. Just because you know your opponent's going to be going for the samurai. Maybe he was worried about Yumi? I don't believe that, though. That doesn't make sense. And also, he has so many walls that Arbitraire, the slowness wouldn't be that much of a problem. You'd be able to react. Interesting choice to go archers. I mean, I guess it enables the knights, but there we go. Now I've seen the switch. The problem here with like enabling your knights, we already highlighted that French knights don't feel that great against Mad Samurai unless you go for Royal Institute, which you very rarely go Royal Institute these days as French. Nice will chow down on the ram. And Crackety now going for the gold skewer makes a lot of sense. Japan is a very gold-heavy civ. That's the thing that can make this matchup interesting when both sides have a lack of gold access safely. Both of them are heavily focused on gold. You've got French Knights, Arbitraire, you've got Mad Samurai, Onabugisha, Onamusha. The list goes on. There's just so many things that you want to have gold for in both of these civs. Yeah, I mean, I know we see spears now, but normally Japan doesn't want to build spears until Imperial Age. They have diversified now to the point where Yumi are quite useful in Castle, though. But for French, yeah, outside of archers, it's all gold-focused. I know someone's going to be like, but KP, like, aren't most civs designed that way? Well, sure, but to the degree of which you do or do not want to play into food and wood type things, it's very different. So take, for example, an Abbasid player. An Abbasid player is very happy to spend 20 minutes just spamming archers and spearmen and Horsemen. Because they have great economy to allow for it, and actually they get some perks that enable it, such as composite bows. You have like the military boot camp as well that gives the 15% increased health. There's a lot of good that comes out of that for that style of Sith. These two hate that approach. In fact, the Yumi build was really only the last, 2 months that it took over. Before that, Yumi was seen as one of the most meaningful units in the game. Definitely the most meaningful one that Japan has. I always love how much of a liability Katana Bannermen are because they move faster than Spearmen and Samurai. Yeah, it's a big negative because it means unless you're playing with Onibigeisha, what's usually going to happen is your Bannerman's going to engage first and die. Great that the Bannerman effect lingers around. That also means after the fight, you're probably going to be out of Bannerman already. Really annoying, actually. Relic game looks like it hasn't gone as cleanly as Red had hoped, by the way. Has one Relic home already. Second one's been contested. And Crackety... could he actually... He is. Yo, Crackety's going to get 3 relics after all this. That's pretty sick. Just like that sub right there is. Thank you, Zuba0T. I see you come through, mate. Thank you very much. 20 months. What a legend. What's the name of Red Player? The name of Red Player is... Man reaching over man. Man bending knee on table, man bending knee on table, man bending knee on table. I think I have translated those symbols correctly. You guys see it, right? You see the man standing on the man? The man standing on the man standing on the chair. And then you've got the man who's like, his knees here. And then he's on a table that's upside down. I don't know if it's become blatant to you yet, but I do not speak Chinese. That samurai count looking really good, by the way. I don't know what possessed Red to think he could be out here. No. Back behind the wall, sure. The arbitrary is in position, sure. But guys, these are just the archers. The arbitrary are all in the center looking at nothing. Great positioning by Crackety. And are you kidding me? Nani? It's going to be a 4 relic grab for the German. That is disgusting. I can't believe I actually achieved that. Considering the position he was in at the start of this game. No. Like, that outpost at the start looked like it locked in a very easy game for Red. But somewhere along the line, he was way too greedy about this. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it was, because it's not like he built 50 farms. I mean, he has got 21 in fairness. Meanwhile, Crackety has not, right? He's just relied primarily on the base farms, which come out from the Kura storehouse. In fact, entirely on them. He hasn't built a single farm manually. Empty. Is that Red's translation? Empty Night Sky. Night Sky is a pretty cool name. I kind of dig that. And yeah, French has gone Guildhall, so he'll eventually be ready for Imperial. Up to 1400 already, actually. This game's definitely not ending before Imperial Age. It's just a stare-down affair right now. The reason it's not going to end before Imperial is Crackety has mid-map control, so Red can't push him. But Red has Arbitrary, so Crackety can't push him. He's trying, though. We have a switch. Horseman spam on the way. The reason why Japan is doing this is because if you go into Imperial, Arbitrary will start to kill everything. With crossbow stirrups tech, they'll just melt down everything. So Crackety doesn't want to allow it to get to that point at all. Not to mention French Knights. You know, we talked about Royal Institute being the way that French can compete in this age. If they want to play around Knights, well, he didn't go for it. So Royal Bloodlines would come in with that in play. Yeah, Crackety playing with some urgency. And let's not get started about this. Look at the eco difference. It's still pretty ridiculous. Despite the good efforts to get 4 relics, Crackety is gutted here on the economy by comparison. Give announcement now? No. Said announcements tomorrow. Does that work? You know, like if someone comes up, like, yo, someone's like, yo, KP, if you commit to what I'm asking you to do, in 10 years, you'll have $1 million. Give me $1 million now. Oh, well, okay. Let me just do that. And this is a slow game. I don't know, man. I'm not sure if Crackety can afford to be this slow. It's only wooden walls. I think that's the big shocker to me. It's like on these flanks, he could easily break through. But I think he's so paranoid about the gold that if he breaks off to go for that, he's worried Arbitrary are going to shut him down. But like, there's backup options out here. The effort you've put into trying to guard this gold, you could have employed into guarding the north side gold. Flash is going to come in. We do have the sprint placements in every single tower. Knights are going to be baited to dive past it, and that's awkward right now because it means all your range units are attacking a building, Red. What? No, this is like the hardest way to win the game. He needs the Knights actually attacking. He's got a single ram coming in. His crossbows, though. They need to get maximum value. They've been getting shot in the face constantly. Knights' front line is already dead for Red. The Mad Samurai, not looking good on the breakthrough here, but the Horsemen could. There's 14 Horsemen remaining. There's no units to counter them. They're going to be able to chase this away. Red completely misread the position. Oy, oy, oy. Should get pushed back. Sprint on placements, still in effect. Now, there's a big negative here. Crackety, throughout all that, was idling 16 workers. Lost a few, etc. He's also not gathering gold because he's defending this. So it still favors Red pretty heavily because he's got a guild hall he's pulled. He's got the gold. I think he's looking for the red pass in the center. Yeah, because, you know, like, there's so much more gold on the map, but you've got to have the one that he wants, right? Castle drop on the east side as well. Red does realize that it's called Age of Empires 4 because there's 4 ages, right? Right? Yeah, he's totally going to realize. There we go. Okay, so after all that, it's not even that good of a red palace placement. I mean, it'll block out the gold vein, but it doesn't let you get gold yourself, if that makes sense, right? I thought he'd be more aggressive because of how big his lead is, but I mean, look at the military count. It's pathetic. And no, dude, that wall. Oh my god, just in time. Crackety knew exactly what he was up to. This is going to force the fight. He goes in for the torch! No! Just like that, Red just lost the entire investment. But don't worry, guys. He waited so long, we can just try it again. I cannot believe what I just saw there. That was ridiculous. All right, if at first you don't succeed. I mean, he did kill a decent number of the troopers that time, so surely this time. Nah, guys, the Crackety's not going to be able to kill it this time. I think he's happy and content with the fact he got rid of it once. Absolute absurdity there. But shows you just how far ahead Red is, that he could afford to lose his Imperial investment like that and then just do it again. Unbelievable game. I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, this one's going to be called Guy Throws Away Imperial Tech Up just to make game fair. I mean, it just kind of looks like that. Oh, God. Crackety, can he actually mirror an age up now? He's got trebuchets coming out. He shifted to the north side gold. Gold up here is not harassable like Crackety thinks. There is a castle with Arbalest placements inside it. So poke him off a little bit. Pathing wasn't generous to Red there. But ultimately, you cannot dive this. Remember, it's not just the normal arrow fire. It has got one of those big fat crossbows in it. Place the red palace forward to the side. What, you mean here? Even further away from your base after you were just failing to get out of your base? You know, like, it's nice to dream. It's not so nice to be delusional. Like, let's be fair here. Red struggled to place this castle. And you want him to place this castle? That's like failing to be able to, as a country, build a plane and saying, we should build intercontinental missiles. That will go better. Like, hey guys, we haven't even figured out like how a helicopter works. We're gonna launch a space rocket. Oh no, wait, what do you want from him then? You mean all the way up here? It's way far out of the base. Oh, down here. I mean, he already has a castle here. I see what you mean. You think he should have placed it here. The problem is the outpost would see him either way, right? So he just wants, after that first fail, he just wants it as close to the wall as possible. Either way, that first attempt, it was always going to fail the same. And, well, he burned all that resource just to watch it burn. He's got 3,500 wood, folks. He could have kept that alive if he wanted to. What the hell is Red up to? No, it's not classic French. In fairness, there are castles everywhere. There's no flank point that you can go around. There is no Netherlands. Oh, wait. This is Netherlands, isn't it? Yeah, that's Netherlands. Oh, nice spam coming from Red now. A good map for it. Hillendale has a lot of 8k golds. So you can definitely afford to do it for a long time. Maybe wait for a few more nights first, though. I don't think he has a university either. Yeah, no uni. He has switched the guild hall over to gold. It's stockpiling up now. 1,200 currently. This game is getting weird. In fairness, Red should have the advantage when Crackety chooses to tech. Why is he not repairing the Red Palace? I think the problem here, like the reason why he doesn't want to repair the Red Palace is he's looking at this and going, okay, I don't think I can actually stand there and then dive into you. So if I just keep repairing it, I'm just going to waste resources. Whereas instead, I don't think you're ready to dive me. So you're kind of wagering a bit here, right? But logic is if your opponent's not ready to dive and you choose to repair, what's the point? Because like what happened here is Crackety, he killed the landmark and then didn't move in at all. He just stood here. Like, I'm happy, I got gold. So instead, Red waits, and now look at the difference it makes. An army that can actually put up a decent fight. Knights, very, very tanky. Royal Bloodlines isn't even in yet, and they're winning the equation. Damn, this is big. Royal Bloodlines comes through, and I don't see how Crackety wins from there. The Spearman just failed him in a big way. Elite Crossbowman just so dominant this stage, especially when your opponent stuck castle. And remember, there's still also incendiary arrows on top of that. This was also pre-level 3 damage tech. Still so many good things for Red to take from this. He just needs to try and take the head of Crackety, because right now, going straight down the center is actually a move that could work here. The problem, though, we can see it. He cannot. Crackety should be somewhat protected by the fact that Red does not have God Vision. And Crackety has got stone walls. Just weirdly enough, not in the center of the map. He's a pro SimCity player? No, he's not. Bro, like, do you even know anything about going pro in SimCity? Look at the way he set up his districts. You got Food District, which is, like, lingering into your military district. It's not completely separate. That's not very efficient. Then you got a little bit of Food District over here to support Military District, but, like, where's the housing district for these people? This guy's like a C-tier SimCity player. How dare you insult the professional SimCity ecosystem? Those people have worked hard, tirelessly, thousands of hours competing to see who would win $10. Okay, where are we going, guys? Wait, seriously, where? Oh my god, no, go back inside, go back inside. How did he even get through that? There's another gate being built. Red's not paying attention, man. He should have killed all that. The gate wasn't even complete. Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. For Red to get all those kills, all he had to do is A-click, move back a bit, A-click, move back a bit. But instead, he just looked elsewhere and let them do their thing. And apparently, the thing they really wanted to do is take an extended coffee break. He says he never saw the second TC after that messy opening. Were you never suspicious? Because, like, it kind of sat there and he didn't do anything to you for a very long time. I thought you might get a bit suspicious, like either TC or trade. That also explains why Krakeny didn't go into the base after killing the Red Palace. He's like, oh yeah, I got him right where I want him. Especially after he gifted you one version of going Imperial. Wait, is he actually going... He's switching archers. Interesting. Guess he trusts the French knights just to carry against the Mount Samurai now. Triple cannon as well. Castle the Crow is up, so we've got double rocket launcher. Double rocket launcher, Krakeny. That is 2 more rockets than the army of Malta has. Actually, no, that's not fair. That's Cyprus district. Wait, no, it's not. That's Cyprus. Yeah, the army of Malta has. I don't think... does Malta actually have a standing army, now that I think about it? I've never bothered to ever look that up. I wouldn't be surprised they don't have any rocket launchers. Meanwhile, Red has got triple royal cannon. That's 3 more cannons than the Dutch army. Okay, I'm just offending people today. You guys ever seen that, like, a funny little a meme of, like, the Dutch Army's mobile division, and it's just like a bunch of people on bikes? Is he just going for a wonder victory now? Like, yo, Krakeny, are your games against this guy usually just macro-y? I feel like he just, after that outpost, it's just been full chill pill and just slowly age. Man, Krakeny is suffering with this map. Remember, one of the big problems on Hill and Dale is a lack of space. The final frontier. Oh yeah, I know Cyprus is militarized. That's why I said Malta. Because Cyprus is split seed between 2 countries. I'm not really split on the outcome of this game, though. This looks horrible. This many Royal Knights? Good lord. Has he got Nagyari? He does not have Nagyari. No, it's coming through now. It's 30 seconds out. Cannons might be in a bit of a pickle, though. Horsemen do get in. It's still 40 Knights. Villagers are coming forward. He's looking for the castle drop. Archers are on the way. Hold on. Krakeny. He's going to hold. By God, he's done it. Trust in the power of the Japanese spearmen, even without Nagyari. Good enough to hold it all back. Even without Oda tactics, good enough to hold the knights at bay. At least round 1. Yeah, because this is a blood sport that never ends, and Krakeny's army is quickly getting drained. Down to just 25 remaining, up against 60, and that includes archer play now to counter out the speeds. This is where things get shaky. In Krakeny, he has no unit diversity because he has no options. He can use food and wood or food and wood. Or you can literally and figuratively eat rocks. Actually, you can't even do that. You've got no stone. You also are going to struggle to use Castle the Crow because the French player walled it off. There's no way to actually get the traders. with the caravan. You can see that in just 15 seconds when one pops out. Aye. Yeah, this is grim tidings. I mean, 10 seconds away. I think he's targeted the one over here. There is a route, but it has to come through the center of the map, past where the whole army's going to go. And here we go. The little donkey that could. I don't think the donkey can. This thing's so steep. What, because you can't detach it after you've allocated it? Could have taken the safe path? Yeah, he totally could have taken that safe path. Stupid donkey. Why don't you just learn to climb over palisade walls, huh? Huh? Like, why don't you just use the gates? Oh, the one before done this, did it? Yeah, well, I mean, there's a good excuse now. Okay, Crackety. Guys. Can we agree Crackety needs to stop with the aggressive remarks towards this innocent treasure caravan? All right? You're blaming his great uncle. Oh, sorry, you're blaming him for his great uncle's sins. All right? Like, you know, there's a reason we don't allow that in legal systems these days. Right? Do not hold the children accountable for the father's sins. Wait, actually, he did. How? Oh, God, I don't even know how that got in. How did he just walk past all that? I guess the monk wasn't there? Yeah, so it's just like blind vision and weird positioning from Red. All right. So what was that, Crackety? We still flaming him for all his uncle's sins? Or are we worshipping him for being the final treasure caravan that ever was? Final cannon shots gonna be delayed here. The horseman did charge in. Still pressure under the cast of the crow. Roboticon held in reserve as well, by the way. I don't know if Crackety's seen that yet. He will now. Springs into action against a full melee army. There is no range units here, other than the bombards. And wait, the Roboticon? Wait, the Roboticon? Where is it going? No, not like this. Just shoot. Just shoot. He gets rid of the cannons, but the horsemen get the kill. Oh my God, what just happened? That should have been a massacre. It was, just not the way you would have expected. Guys, how is Crackety not dead? Why is that Roboticon griefing us? Cannons dove onto as well. Is going to be able to snipe those out. Micro split from Crackety just to try and optimize, get the most bang for buck here. As it looks like he's going to get every single one of these cannons killed. Good job, Crackety. You just got to do that 7 more times. Yeah, I feel a bit bad for him. There's a futility to this. Like, despite the great micro in those engagements, look at the state of the economy. Look at the control of the map. Look at the sacred site timer. It's not enough to win the micro battles. Crackety needs to find a way quickly to win this war. Otherwise, he's going to be up Craps Creek without a paddle because he won't have any wood left to build a paddle with. Yeah, I mean, this is his final tree line. All right, he's got a little bit of straggler up here. Then he has to come out into dangerous territories. Bombard defense strat is cool if you actually can hold on to it, but I think we might be at break point. The Knights are getting through. Oh man, Hill and Dale is such a disgusting map for French, really. The amount of Knights he's been spamming with no need to ever go trade because of all the gold veins. I mean, that's the comical part to me as well, is how often French players do just go trade. When there's just so many 8k veins you could play with instead. Cannons haven't actually arrived yet, but it's not going to matter. GG gets called. Crackety made the Chinese player mad. The Chinese player made Crackety into a Borscht. Which Japan got keeps in castle? Yeah, dude. Like, of course, you just put your... I mean, it's not that expensive as well to turn your TC into a castle, right? You only have to spend 750 on building it, and then 175 plus 600 plus the 1200, right? Like, that's only 1975. So you're only spending in total to build a castle as Japan in Castle Age, 2,700 resources. I don't see the problem, really. Well, sorry, that was unfair. 2,725 resources. It's totally reasonable. Oh, you're right. The reason it has to be that expensive is because it's a TC. That totally tracks, right? Because like, there's no civ in the game that builds a normal castle and it becomes a town center. Because like that, that you would have to charge like 2,000 resources for. Because otherwise it would be too good. Wait a second. Hold on just a moment. That sounds familiar. Why does that sound familiar? Alright, looks like we might have a live game involving Louis. Just bear me 1 second. Because I'm going to have a look and see if it's a high-ranking account. We do like live games. 1908 ELO. Ranked 34th in the world. Carmel, Sushi versus OOTD. That's actually kind of interesting, because obviously, like, Pro Scouts, Territory, Sushi still a king. Order of the Dragon's, like, what, second tier? Maybe third. Cost me an additional 150 res a minute. You're complaining because you're getting villagers? Jesus, this guy is never happy. Oh my god. Always wants more. So greedy. Try to give you positive Crackety and you just spin it into more, more, more. You're that person, I see. Alright, 1 sec. I need to label that game when it gets uploaded. So that one will be Guy burns his own Imperial tech to make game fair. There we go. And no, I don't know who this Sushi player is. Like I said, they're ranked 34th though, so they're really high up. They've been playing a lot this season. They've got 406 games played. Which is more games than they've played in almost any season of AoE 4. They started back in Season 7, where they were around rank 500. Season 10, they finished rank 86th. I love these melons. Alright, I gotta stop saying that. Thank God, guys. It's so hot today. I feel like when it finally rains, it's even worse than if it just doesn't. Yeah, pretty much. Every time. Sorry, I just had to check something. But yeah, we've got some other series lined up as well. Outside of this, we've got some Ravane series against Dumu. We'll cover a little bit later. We've got what we think is Recon going up against Mahodo. And I think we had a Recon Kilyadi game as well. Oh, and a Mahodo Kilyadi game. Maybe a little bit of core later. If I'm feeling generous. Where's my jungle cam? That's for when we're in lobby. Like this. What do you mean jungle? Like, look, there's a few cables there. Dude. There's not even enough cables there to hang you. Now, you are a chunky monkey, but still. Hey, there's barely enough cables showing to make a good skipping rope. Ooh. Wait, there's a new Octopath Traveler? Interesting. I need to, I want to try and bump the Nintendo PR person. We do get Gamba if we have a mod in the house. What's up, Pencil D to the O to the N to the G? Thank you very much for this Prime sub. Appreciate it, mate. Welcome to the Swarm. All right. There are that many Chinese people that they're now having to destroy each other. Welcome back to Live from the Ladder, folks. We've hopped in for a Louis MT game. That's right. Here in the blue, this guy playing as Order of the Dragon is none other than fan favorite Louis MT. The second biggest streamer in the world for Age of Empires 4 consistently. Now, someone's going to say, because BC's number one, right? No, BC's actually not number one there. It's a different streamer from China that's bigger than Louis MT and BC. I forget his name, though. I think it's Dark something. Guy's absolutely huge. You won't be able to watch him, though, because he does exclusively Chinese content. On the other side, though, he's going to be going up against the Sushi. And I just realized I've been looking at the Sushi the whole time. Sorry, I was modifying, so we had the blue thing in there. This Sushi pick should be favored. And this guy's pretty decent, actually. Ranked 34th in the world. Finished the last season top 100. Only started in Season 7. We've got another Chinese player rising up through the ranks. This is going to be a fun one. And thank you for the raid, Taffers. Welcome, one and all. So, Carmel, when I saw this and I saw the rankings, you know, if this had been that Louis had picked the number one go-to, I would have just been like, we probably don't even bother watching this. What's the point? Louis MT knows what he's doing. But he went for Order of the Dragon, which is a little bit unusual. You don't typically see OOTD. We did see it once before, and I've misspelled Louis, I am aware. We've seen it like once before recently. We actually had if you guys remember, we had a game between, was it Kiliadi and Dumu or Kiliadi and Beastie? I think it was Kiliadi and Dumu, where he had this really sick all-in strategy in the Feudal Age off of Archer Spam. I believe it was Ibids versus the Order of the Dragon. Very different matchup, to be fair, though. So this one, though, I would still say Sushi are favored, because the thing for Sushi you have to remember is they're able to just spam into Pro Scouts very efficiently, and Order of the Dragon will struggle to stop that because they just don't have many troops in the early phase of the game. Sheet count so far, it's okay for him. They're neck and neck. Medigun's going to be coming through, which shouldn't be anything big. We can see it's actually pretty underwhelming. By the way, that's a pretty crazy tree line. Like, that is a glorious tree line, actually. He's created a frontline bubble with that type of spawn. So green has a really, really nice spawn overall. The deer spread as well is quite nice. He's got enough on each side, as you always do these days, that like Pro Scouts is very hard to deny. I'm actually curious as to whether Louis MT is going to try to do Pro Scouts too. In one sec. Did we not have predictions? I'll sort predictions. Who'll win game? Green or blue? There you go. Wait, did someone legit just say the chat box is big? You, sir. I don't want to judge, but I think you just got issues with what's considered big. Chat box has basically been perfectly aligned to not block really anything extra. Yeah, we use the dead space. So this area down here, like, all you're not seeing is all the little icons for things you can build. So dugout complete. I have seen Order of the Dragon play 2TC on this map before, but that's not the balance of economy from Louis. This looks like a fast castle build. That's interesting. So I guess the goal here is to try and like ignore Pro Scouts, get castle quick enough. Maybe you go Regnates? That would be pretty sick, getting the Relic drawing as OOTD. They have a lot of good gold-heavy options when you get to Castle Age. Pro Scouts is confirmed in. Now, the problem with going Regnants here if he does is, remember, because your opponent has gone Pro Scouts, he's built stables. So you can build a few Horsemen, and this Relic spawn isn't great for Louis. 3 bunched up like this makes you very predictable. The other 2 split on the other side. I mean, you don't really need that many Horsemen to stop the Prelate play. Like, basically 4. 4 Horsemen would be enough to stop Prelates gathering Relics. KPMM start tomorrow? I didn't say that. I said we're going to have an announcement about KPMM tomorrow. God, you guys are greedy. You wanted to start in 1 day? Sheesh. Greedy. I wonder, like, how many people know how much work goes into organizing tournaments? There's a lot of things to sort behind the scenes. Like, my brain is like, I'm like, I don't think we left enough time for marketing, and I know that's true. It's funny, because I'm usually, like, criticizing, like, most esports environments. They actually do not leave anywhere near enough time to market the very heavily invested into esport situation. Oh, this is maybe a little bit more forgivable because, like, we do it for 40 weeks. I know what happened to Louis MT in the Steel Series tour. So, like, the thing with Louis MT is I think it was just an outdated meta conception by him. Like, his perspective on what the meta was and what it was meant to be was completely inaccurate to what we were seeing from what I could tell. Right? Like, we even had that moment where he had the interview where he talked about, like, the Delhi-Roos matchup and how he thinks, like, Delhi had pretty good timings. And then outside of that one series, we saw Roos beat Delhi, I think, every single time they matched up when it was European players. So, like, I think even actually when it was like there was even a CSO versus Vortex game. So we even saw, you know, this attempt by, actually, no, sorry, I was playing Roos in that one. But in general, the point is that, like, it just feels like maybe the ideas that were true before aren't holding true now. Which is healthy. Delhi is good versus Roos? Then why did Roos keep winning in the later games? I think they won all of the playoff games, right? When they came up against each other. I think it happened twice. Feel free to double check me. I might be wrong. Misrecalling. Like, yes, early on Delhi were winning. But then you had CSO versus Vortex, where CSO lost with Roos against Delhi. Big. Gilded Knight's coming out, by the way. So Louis MT, he did go for the Regnants we talked about. And Green went Spears instead of going Horsemen. Which means these Prelates get the goodies. Yeah, the problem with Spears over Horsemen here. Horsemen can weave in and out and block the Relics. Spearmen can't like this, especially if you plan to go mount the Academy Rush. If he was investing full Spears, maybe. But adding the 3 Spearmen does nothing against a Gilded Knight, guys. A Gilded Knight will beat 3 Spearmen. Just look at the... Like, this is... Bro, resign. Just delete yourself. Oh, my... Yeah, nothing like a casual 2-hitter. Prelate's moving to the north side. The double Spearman is going to be there. Blue. Louis. He's going to steer back towards the Gilded Knight. He's already grabbing the east side. Guys, this might actually end up being a 5-relic game. No cap. Gets the brace. But just look at the health on this thing. That's clubbing him down. A little bit suboptimal there. Actually could have let the scout finish that 1 HP here. But it's fine either way. Gets his kills here. Scares the scout away on the east side. West side grabbing the relics. This is just a bomb rush and a half. Whew. Delhi won 4 versus 1 Roos in the tourney. Really? Was there a playoff one? I thought there was one playoff series where Roos won that against Delhi. I guess I'm misrecalling then. All right. I'll tip my hat and leave the room. But to the original point, it did seem like Louis MT's like drafting, maybe it felt like from what I remember, he was maybe prioritizing things that weren't as coveted by his opponent in the playoffs anyway. Like, it's Marine Lord. It's always tricky Marine Lord. It could just simply be Marine Lord actually, like, after losing, he doubled down his efforts to fix the mistakes, right? And maybe Louis was a little bit more lax. I'm not sure how many hours Louis put into 1v1s compared to, like, prior. I think he has been hard committing, but one thing I do know with certain Chinese players, they basically get paid by members of their community to play public games with them. So that can de-incentivize practicing as much, because you can just make money by playing games with random people. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Like, I know one guy that gets, I think it's like $30 per game he plays with people. Which isn't too bad. Like, doesn't sound like a lot, but when you consider the size of our scene and you do the maths around it, like, let's say, like, okay, $30. Let's say you're able to get that 6 times a day. So 6 times a day, you're getting $30. That's $180 a day. You do that 5 days a week. That's gonna be $900. You're making, at that point, 3,800, no, 3,600, right? 3,600 a month, and that's before you talk about like what you make off of streaming, whatever else, right? I'm right. 4-2 in Delhi favored. Yes, ha! I knew it. I knew there was one in there in the playoffs. But like, this is the thing that's deceptive about like that type of percentile. Is like looking at the games that happen later in the tournament is more important. Because the games later in the tournament are going to be more indicative of accurate matchups between, like, players, right? Because early on, you're going to get mismatches. So, for example, Delhi beating Roos when it's Vortex versus CSO, but the way that CSO was performing, not as shocking, really, right? Like, I felt really bad for CSO, by the way. If those didn't catch it, he got 1 win in the entire tournament, and that was the opening game against Marine Lord. The opening game, opening series. And then it just all went downhill from there. Poor guy. Alright. I feel like I want to say poor guy to green. Because focus on the game a bit. You guys notice that there's still 2 relics in play. But position-wise, they're awkward, no? Yeah, they're coming home, man. I mean, the Gilded Knights are winning out where they need to against the Lancers, is the thing. Relic's going to be Warlord, but that's not going to work, so we'll get denied there. East side Relic is easily obtainable, though. And the problem is green, he's got all these Knights, but they're not all here. Could say the same of Louis, though. Nice denial. Crushes the Monk, backs away. If green just steers off, he can snipe this one here with 2 of the Lancers. And then turn onto the villagers as well. He hasn't realized it just yet, though, and... No, just in time. Does get the kill. That's big. That's 1,000 resources down the drain. No switch up from Louis, by the way. Which is a little bit crazy at this stage. I would have thought he'd pivot into a new unit type. Like Crossbowman. Gilded Crossbowman is a pretty good goal to have. Another unit that uses your gold very well. Because the problem here now is food. Remember, one player went pro scouts, the other did not. The other tried to walk out for food and got punished, right? Actually, I think he was just walking out for gold. That vein looks so tiny. And looks like we are going to get this crossbowman. So Archery Range is now coming in. You can guarantee it's crossbowman because he's got way too much gold, not enough food. And not enough wood to think about like going Gilded Archers. And the Spearman count isn't like insane yet, right? So I don't think that's like your big priority is I'm going to die to Spearman. One Relic actually got pulled back, by the way. Green, good job. Where is it? Is it almost home already? Dive continues over here. This looks like it's going to go after the towers. E-Repairs was baited onto the other tower. Gilded Knights are buying a little bit of time here. The problem that I'm seeing, you got what? Double Spring Orb, but no fortification here. So he's going to start losing those outbursts. As long as Louis is target firing down the Spearman with the Spring replacements, this is going to be a fine defense, though. And there's the Relic. So he is walking all the way home. But remember, guys, this is 8 relics, courtesy of the fact that it's Regnants. So Louis has got an insane amount of gold influx. In fact, you can see he's already stockpiled almost 2,000 extra. What about Spearman against green? It's not a bad idea. The problem is it's raw entity count, right? And choke point defense there, like, that can be good. But I think the crossbow is just better value because you want something you can't lose. So you'd be right to think Spearman, because the idea is in this choke point here, like, free Spearman will be able to fight versus his free. But your free are double value. So you win that fight, right? You beat the first line. But Gilded Crossbowman can't really be touched. And the other thing that Louis loves to do is he loves to flex his micro on the TC. So he'll be able to just clown car in, clown car out. You can steal the Relic? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be quick enough. The monks aren't coming, right? No, we've got no monk coming across. So the Relic unlikely to get stolen here. Because remember, when the Gilded Crossbowmen start coming out, green can't stay here anymore. Yeah, reminder just how hard these guys hit. Look at that. 34 damage. Okay. I don't know where that comment came from, but someone just like, I'm from Turkey. We're better than all the countries. Are you really, if you have to say you're better than all the countries? You know, like, what was that? What's that good old classic saying from Game of Thrones? And he goes, I am the king. It's like, any king who has to say he is the king is not a true king. Go to Knights and, oh, bandits, the E-repairs. Just waste his time entirely. Gilded Knights are restocking. Another thing that's big here is Inspired Warriors. Percentile buffs is huge for Order of the Dragon. You've already seen the impact. Can't even think about diving that. Especially the prelates behind just to heal up. Reminder, the crossbowmen have 140 HP each. Bulky is all hell. And one sec. I believe this person really, really just wants to, like... He wants a little bit of attention. Let me give him some attention. There we go. We got him. He must be so proud. He got a streamer to give him attention for 5 seconds out of their day. I think the funniest part is, like, after he said, like, this country is the best country, my brain was like, and that's, oh, really? Then why are me and my family holidaying into Greece? Oh, dear. Stone gathering continues, though, so we should get some more emplacements coming through, because you want to make sure you got these relics garrison to be a defense strat for you. Good Knights. Now pressure on the other side. I think the green, he played this well up to a point, but now it's unraveling, guys. The Gilded Crossbow counterplay was clutch. And not just that, Louis is just miles ahead. Look what's next. He knows what he's doing with this play. He's got too many Gilded Knights and Crossbowmen for green to do anything but crossbows himself, right? Because if this was China, you might see Nesta Bees because of the extra health. On a map like Carmel, you don't want to build Nesta Bees in general. You're definitely not doing it Shushi when you have to attack. And there's already the read and the understanding of that. Like, Gilded Archers would be countered by that, right? But Gilded Archers are going to counterplay the Spearmen and the Crossbowmen. Then also Horseman, just to guarantee, has that rotational potential. Because when you go for the extra comp switch here, you know, you can't really afford to do Knights alongside it if you want to get bloat quick. Full shift in production. Really cool as well because it doesn't cost you any additional buildings. You already built the archery ranges and stables for your Knight Crossbowman comp. So going Horseman Archers doesn't require anything new. Just the text, of course. The only time you played OTD is when the Expo bug was in the game. Shame on you! Alright. If you like, I'm gonna blackmail you now. That's right. Streamer's gonna blackmail his viewers. If you don't keep committing your sub here for the rest of eternity, I'm gonna leak that to the public. Because so far it's been a private affair. There's no other way anyone can know. But if you don't give me the money, people will find out. Oh man, like, wait, does Green not know? Oh my god, dude, he's so distracted by this. Look, the army's just standing here. So the Guild Knights go in. A lot of idle time being achieved. They will eventually get cleared up, though. But even with those Gilded Knight losses, look at the size of Louis' army. He's hiding it in the farms. It's going to be marching the base. We've been here before. Turn here again. No E-repairs this time. The Inspired Warriors buff turns these Gilded Archers into true menaces. 12 damage and the attack speed to make them like a minigun. Yeah, we're watching that final scene out of The Last Samurai at this stage. Just full-on plan it into a Gatling gun. Able to just run them all down, and all of a sudden, green, just look at the difference in size. The Gilded Knights go in again, and Louis MT may have experienced pressure for most of this game. But now, he rules it. And props to green. New player on the scene, haven't seen him before. Definitely unraveled. I expect that against an established player like Louis MT, but I want to give him props for actually like finding these timings initially to make Louis very uncomfortable. Unfortunately, the Chinese champ just can't be slain. But yeah, on set. Because I think I timed him out instead of banning him. I guess I just banned him, actually. I'm always so generous, not just insta-banning people. Oh, let's go for a report while we're at it. Actually, you want to know what the better one is? When you hide them, so no one sees them but themselves. Is Roman now memeing, or does he need one of those two? So yeah, like guys, like something that's pretty sick that YouTube has, but Twitch doesn't, and I don't know why they don't have it, actually. Is on your YouTube channel, you can mark someone as hidden from everyone else, which is freaking comical. It's actually better than banning, because if you ban someone, they know they're banned, and then they're like, I'm gonna go make another free account, or they're like, oh, I'm gonna move on. The true middle finger to people like that is when you hide them. Because when you hide them, they're in their own little echo chamber that no one else can see. So they could spend hours upon hours trying to spam at you and be like, why is the streamer not responding to me? Do this, do that. It's like, I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, by the way, isn't the Battlefield 6 trailer today? Dude, I'm so bummed out I couldn't get access to that. I'm a big lover of the Battlefield games. I'm probably in a minority as well, experiencing Battlefield Modern Combat. Don't know if you guys are familiar with that one. Battlefield 2 Modern Combat was Battlefield 2 on the PlayStation 2. And it had this really cool feature that was like a hot swap, where you could look at one of your AI troops and you could hold a button and swap to them, which is really, really cool at the time. I love that game. I let a friend borrow it, and that douchebag then just never gave it back. Actually, he traded in, dude. Like, that was the last time I told it. He traded my game in. I cannot believe he done that. Okay, so apparently the reveal is in 2 hours from now. Maybe we watch that. Enlisted's kind of like that. I don't think I ever tried Enlisted. I played a decent amount of Heroes and Generals. That was your first Battlefield 2? Dude, that's awesome. What happened to Rooster in the tournament? They've just been overplayed in a certain way and underplayed in a diverse fashion. So, like, what happened is people realized that Horse Archers wasn't going to work for every strategy, and they diversified. But because people have been doing Horse Archers for so long, they haven't really, like, experimented with the other forms. That's my take anyway. I think, like, Roost is still decent, not, like, full-on OP, right? Like, China, for example, is just... I mean, China is the one that gets banned for very good reason, right? Like, China is, like, gigabusted. And I'm glad people are finally realizing that, by the way. All right. 1 sec. Let me see what we got as options to watch. Looks like Krakedy has not got a good opponent. Sorry, maybe he is. I don't know him, though. Should we go for the suspected recon? Rakon versus Mhodo? Or do we do Core versus Myriad? What do you guys want? Dimmu versus not good op? What does that even mean? I'm confused.com. I mean, Dimmu's up against Lash, which is not like a... No offense, Lash. It's not that good of a matchup. At least not every time I've tuned into it. I feel like Dimmu just has Lash's number, unfortunately for him. Unless I've missed a big improvement from Lash recently. Alright, we'll probably do both. Let's do the core one now. We'll do the core versus Myriad game. Okay, 1 second. Dude, I'm so excited for the Battlefield trailer. I've been so desperate for a good Battlefield game. Like a few months ago, I tried playing Battlefield 2042. I don't know why. I actually bought that game when it came out as well. Talk about making myself feel bad. Alright, so, Dry Arabia. It's House of Lancaster versus Abbasids. Twitch is currently on a mission to try and say that fake viewers are not real viewers. And we're trying to do something very similar here in Age of Empires 4. Fake villagers are not real villagers. True or false? What better way to find out than to have it done like this, with House of Lancaster going up against the Civ most capable of building real villages, albeit very cheap ones. That's right, Core. He's going to be going on the Abbasids up against Myriad as the House of Lancaster. I thought this would be a cool one, actually. Like, we don't really see much Abbasids at all at the moment, let alone against House of Lancaster. And I imagine the idea is going to be some sort of TC strategy, because it's very hard to envision a world in which Abbasids aren't doing that, unless it's because we're on a water map. Battlefield 1 was the last good game in the franchise? Okay, so I'm going to give some defense here. We're just hyping up the new Battlefield trailer that's dropping today. I haven't seen it yet because it's... I mean, well, when this goes live on YouTube, it would have been live already, right? But I'm hyped for it. I think the Battlefield 5 was okay. I don't think Battlefield 5 was revolutionary. I don't think it moved the ball entirely. But I think it gets, like, slapped on for being decent. Does that make sense? Like, it wasn't a jackpot, but you can't put it in the same light as Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042 was a train wreck. It was one of the worst releases in the last few years by far. It was disgustingly bad. It still kind of is, actually. But yeah, for those who don't know, I'm a big fan of Battlefield. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a second. But just to kind of emphasize what we're probably expecting here, I'd expect the Abbasids to be going for the Eco Wing. Meanwhile, Myriad, I'm expecting at least 3 manas here. I wonder if it's going to get creative and try something like the Lords. Most likely when we're seeing Lancaster Castle, it's just not a very good spawn for it. Actually, no, it's fine, right? He's got the stone back here. So if he was the Lancaster Castle here, this works out really well for the Golden Stone, but it's different. He doesn't want to challenge the macro of Abbasids. There you go, guys. Confirmation. Fake villages are not real villages. That's why Myriad is refusing to build around them. Yeah, because normally I would have expected Lancaster Castle, scale up the levels. Wonder what Core's response is going to be. Because he hasn't scouted this, right? He's playing blind against it. It's just raw Eco Wing. Which means Myriad has an opportunity to attack here. How do I feel about Battle Bits? I thought Battle Bits was a pretty fun game. I don't know why it just didn't really attract me for very long. I think it was Battlefield-esque, but it was also trying to be kind of like Armor, if that makes sense. I feel like BattleBits was more interested in being something akin to Armor. Not Armor, like Armor Pace. Squads, I guess. Than it was. Yeah, like to me, BattleBits was trying to be squads, not Battlefield. One thing I will say, you know what, like the redheaded stepchild of the Battlefield universe is, and I feel bad for it because if it wasn't a Battlefield game, it would have been very successful and praised. Hardline. Hardline was not a bad game. Hardline was actually a quite fun game. But the problem is, because it had the Battlefield name, it just got panned as a failed Battlefield. It's sad, but that's something that happens quite often in the gaming industry. Like, actually, like this is an interesting one to think about with Age of Empires 4. It's like, Age of Empires 4, would it have been more successful or less successful over time if it hadn't had the moniker, the name? Now, that is a mixed bag. That's really hard to distinguish, because the thing with Age of Empires 4 is if it hadn't released the Age of Empires name, it probably wouldn't have been anywhere near as big on launch. It, however, also would not have had anywhere near as much scrutiny from fans of earlier games that didn't want Age of Empires 4's experience. They preferred the other game's experience or whatever, right? But you've got to weigh up what one is worth more. Like, technically, it is possible to build an IP from nothing. It's challenging when you're in a genre that's dying, though. So if you look at, for example, Apex Legends. Apex Legends came out and changed the game for Battle Royales. You know, never before had it been envisioned this idea of respawning. All of a sudden, every single Battle Royale is adding respawning. The pacing was so fun. All these things were done right. And Apex Legends had a pedigree team behind it. It was made by the people that made Titanfall. But it did not have an IP brand recognition. It just grew itself. But the difference there is the genre, right? So, like, it's very hard to envision a world in which the next big RTS is not going to be StarCraft, Warcraft, Age of Empires, or some other has-had versions that are already embedded in the mind of the existing players and then accessible to new players. That's why, like, Battle Ace has tried to be very different, by the way. It's like, if it tried to just be what had already existed, it wouldn't have succeeded. Stormgate was meant to have the best opportunity, and the only reason it done that is because of the pedigree around it, right? All these people that made the great RTSs of your childhood are doing this. So anyway, we have got the first Lord of Lancaster coming across. 2TC has been set up by Core. He got a ridiculous spawn for this, by the way. Myriad does know about the placement, but what's he going to do about this? Like, it's a back spawn TC drop, which connects the edge of the map and gives deer. Yeah, honestly, Core should probably, at this point, I don't know, send a thank you cake to the developers, because this might be the best spawn for a 2TC build I've seen in a long time. What happened to Battle Aces? Battle Aces shut down. So their funding got pulled. It's really unfortunate, actually, because like they were funded by Tencent money, right? It's really unfortunate the way that both Battle Aces and Stormgate played out, because it feels like if they had different positions, they would have done better. So Battle Aces was shackled by the requirements of a big publisher wanting full monetization options as much as possible. I think that crushed their hopes, because it was just creating a pay-to-win game. Whereas Stormgate struggled due to funding, right? And oversight funding, right? Because like you know, when you look at the team on Stormgate, like no one there really had deep financial like experience in certain areas that would help you be more lean with your funding. And if they went with Tencent, they would have had plenty of funding. And then also with the systems they were envisioning, there would have been plenty of ways for Tencent to monetize there without it completely breaking the game necessarily. So yeah, very sad that essentially those two developers, if they had been swapped on location, I think we'd be looking at 2 additional RTS, new IPs, that were both successful. But the problem you now have is, like I said, the reason why those could have worked is because they were headed up by people who have RTS pedigree. But now, their pedigrees are tarnished by their failure to deliver on these projects. That's a problem. A lot of people will still back, like, David Kim for being a genius, etc., and you know, these other people, like Tim, right, over at Stormgate. But there'll also now be a bunch of people who will highlight, actually, the last big project they done didn't work. And apparently this Lord of Lancaster didn't work much. No, Myriad's just skipping the age. So we have got Castle on the way. And is this a White Tower rush? I think so. how interesting. White Tower Rush here against camels coming. I'm not sure if this is going to work. I think core can actually mirror the tech up timing somewhat, like as in prep it as you begin castle, and then maybe start just spamming camels. The interesting thing about camels mathematically is they're very, very hard to kill for a few dagger throws. And they can dodge the shots until they're ready to come in because they're a lot faster. We've seen this before, like Camel Archers remains the Abbasid's recovery arc against slow teching, right? When you're up against fast castling civs that are going to get heavily armored units, nothing says stop that right now like Camel Archer spam. Expensive, takes time to build, sure, but you can build into it while you do this tech up. So if core does feel threatened, that'll be his backup option. But for now, he's definitely not threatened by eco, guys. Yeah, the manas aren't really going to beat the 2 TC player now, especially with the Camel Archer sniping extra worker kills like that. Yeah, a bit of a weird placement actually on the outpost from Mirad. I wonder what the thought process was there. Was that maybe a misclick? I guess he was worried about being harassed from the south side, but now this outpost, as a result, it was too far away for the villagers to easily walk into garrison. So they were more likely to get sniped here. Yeah, small differences make them all, really. And it is going to be Earlsguard spam, folks. So, first 3 in the field, more coming. Military wing just a minute away. That's going to give him double camel. It's pretty nice here because if the Earlsguard strat fails, it's quite common in the past to see Lancaster try and lean into a few knights for raiding. I don't think he's going to do it here just because there's already camel showing. And also, he's probably going to scout this before it gets to that point. The walls are already up. So his raiding potential is limited to non-existent. Stormgate is releasing soon, I heard. Next RTS should have tools to make your own civs like Game Spore. Maybe. I think there's an element to that. So we worked with Hussein to create a mod that does that, right? We talked to him about the idea. We've actually got him working on a different iteration that I think will be more user-friendly. But there's a game mode called Empire Draft that I recommend people check out. And in that game, what you can do is at the start of the game, you have a certain number of seconds to spend your budget of gold to unlock units. So you can create your own civ, right? You can choose Lancaster as a base civ and then give them French knights, English lombos. You can give them gilded crossbowmen, whatever you want to, right? You have a certain budget to work with. But I've talked to him about down the line setting up a different version that uses the charter game mode, the one that pops up bonuses for you every X minutes to choose new units. And yes, the Earlsguard you get free with a White Tower, you are correct. That's what's made this build so oppressive, because free Earlsguard is enough to insta-kill a worker if there's no textiles. And there is no textiles, as we saw there. Lord of Lancaster being kept alive is also helpful, just a little bit extra health. Also, is baiting the crossbow out of position. Cool, it's got to be very careful about this. I like these adding in lancers and not just getting baited by crossbows. The problem with just rushing crossbows here is if your opponent's just spamming Earlsguard beat crossbow trickle because they just snipe them. It's 17 damage a dagger throw. It only takes 5 daggers to kill a crossbow. It's a great read by Core to just get that front line of lancers, which means if Earlsguard do turn around, they're going to get pummeled in the face. Gulum's is intriguing, by the way. I'm not so sure about that detail. Maybe, like, is he really worried about yeoman? I guess he's just worried about spears, which is sensible. Like, your opponent has got racks already. And Lancaster normally goes spears at this point. Like, they start to transition into mana spam, and they just have spears to hunker down. Now, the Relic game for Myriad is underway. And he needs a big win here, because Core's almost 20 villages ahead already. Do you think they will drop more PvE co-op campaign type content next DLC? I would be surprised if they don't. I think there was decent success around the missions, like Agincourt, etc., that got added. I think ultimately they have the stats that will probably show a decent intake initially. The reason why they lacked sustainability is because those modes don't have replayability. One of the biggest criticisms I gave of the Knights of Cross and Roses is every single, like, one of those campaigns, well, not every single one, but, like, most of those campaigns, half of them, actually, 2 of them have a perfect score you can achieve, after which there's nothing else to do. So really what I want is more options to replay. I think one big thing I've asked for is, you know, single players with mutators that change all the time, and also co-op as well. You know, I'm playing through The King is Watching right now. Guys, can you guess how many hours I put into King is Watching already? I'm up to 15 hours on this little indie game that was $15. And the reason is that each time you do a run, there's all these different options you can toggle, these different heroes you can use. And then even when you're in the run, each time you do something, there's like, pick one of these 3 options out of a pool of 30 options, right? So you have to constantly adjust and overcome new challenges. That's really enjoyable. I think for Age of Empires 4 to truly succeed, outside of multiplayer content, there needs to be content that is replayable for perfection, but replayable for randomness. That way, you attract people that are good enough to beat the perfectionist content already, but you also encourage the people that aren't good enough to beat the perfectionist content. Does that make sense? Both are very important. And also, let's just get some new campaigns. Like, we need a new campaign. The missions were nice, but it would have been nice to have had a campaign that just featured all the Crusades. That would have been actually the genius move. Elsgard count continues, by the way. Up to 16, but we're reaching the territory where crossbows can defend this quite nicely, because the problem is the dagger throws are less impactful. Usually at this stage, it's very difficult to micro correctly to kill crossbows for maximum damage, because you need to micro 3 different groups at Elsgard, and you can see he's not doing that. He's just going in for clashes. The crossbows love the target fire core. He's getting rid of the bonus HP. It's his #1 prerogative because it makes it easier for his front line to win, to hold out. Even easier when the Lords actually dive in like this. Core gets the snipes. However, he lacks the front line now. He's not microing away. Just standing his ground. A little bit odd, actually, taking more damage than is necessary from the Elsgard. But we are talking about a dive into Core's production. So with the count fizzling out, he will get control. And props to Core for this. He didn't stop producing the Golem. That's important because of what's coming next. I think Core was always conscious of the fact that, you know, it's fine to be Golem here because of your opponent's Elsgard. Sure, it's a bad trade there, but you don't need it to be a good trade. You just need your front line to hold. What really, truly matters here is what is your opponent doing next. It's either going to be longbows or it's going to be spears, right? Yeoman or spears. Those are the things that Lancaster typically pivots into. Golems counterplay both very well. They can't catch yeoman, but they can't really die to them. And spearmen get completely wiped by these things due to the double strike. Free TC play, by the way, Core. I don't think this was needed. This is a little bit far on the greed. Final Relic split, by the way, looks like it's probably going to be 4 for Myriad. He just needs to secure this one over here. But yeah, he'll realize once the Monk gets sniped, he needs to send troops there. Lords are so underwhelming. It's weird in Castle. Like, the impact is a little bit odd. But Lords are really impactful, I think, in Feudal and Imperial. Golem decided to run out there, boldly. And wait, Core, no, are you kidding me? Is he actually yoinking this away? He is. He's on a trek back home. TC also in trouble. I don't know why Core really went for this town center. 2 town center was producing very well for him. Maybe he was paranoid his opponent was going mana spam and he thought he'd get away with this. But ultimately, it's just an expensive loss. Sing shot. Oh! Core, buddy. We got to talk about this standstill. I don't know, man. Like, watching Core in the last 2 fights with his crossbows, I feel like we've been watching the Don Artie 60 APM challenge. Remember when he was standing still here with the Elsgard? And that time against the Yeoman. Maybe he didn't expect Mirai to have the money shot that early. But arrows from heaven send the defenders to hell. Core now outnumbered in his own base. Myriad starting to snowball. He needs the worker kills, though. This dive here needs to go a lot deeper. Yeoman shots are going to be irrelevant. I feel like you just ditch and run. You're not really going to kill the Golems that well, but you could just run past them and go after the economy. Instead, he just stands his ground. I mean, in fairness to him, there's a few crossbows in, so actually it does make sense. Yeah, he's got 6 crossbowmen in. I wondered why his damage was that good. So he is clearing out the army quite well. Core, however, is never running out of army, guys. He has the food set up behind this. More and more farms coming. He does need to slow down, just buy a little bit of time. But economically, he should be able to outblock it. Yeah, I think the only thing missing, and we're seeing it now, is Horsemen. Horseman is the lean and efficient thing. Ghoulam's works to stabilize on the front line for a while, but your opponent now has crossbows as well as Yemen. Just build a Horseman. He's been begging you for it. Do we have more manas yet? We don't. Myriad has got a lot of golden wood, though. I think you just need to get out on the stone and start spamming those manas up. Because, like, at this point, you're not really spending enough to like, make sense of this wood and gold situation. So you can definitely afford to just fix your economy for different ways, right? Like, wood and gold is all you need anyway. This feels like a very big miss macro by Myriad. Okay, I guess that's what we're doing with the wood. He's going Rams. I just hope he does my favorite strat, the Ramadan strat. Guys, you know what the Ramadan strat is? It's where you ram their farms. Ah! Yeah, no, it doesn't look like he's doing that. In fact, it looks like this is a horrible fight. Myriad decides to stand his ground. He's at least trading out with the crossbows, but the horsemen being ignored. Taking out a decent chunk. I think they got rid of 2 or 3 crossbows. Several of the Yos. The thing that makes this a bad trade for Myriad, though, is he's fighting underneath this outpost. An outpost that has a Spearman emplacement. So you're just seeing the difference in numbers. Like, sure, Core barely has an army. But Myriad, you know, the guy who was rigged up at like 40, 50 military, ain't looking so pretty now. Yeah, he needs to break beyond this. He's actually going to get torches out. Okay, he's going to build a ram right in front of this? That's a little bit nuts. Ugh, and missed opportunity to throw some extra torches onto the fire, it would seem. Lord's being targeted down, which actually is pretty ideal for Myriad. The Lord, yeah, he removes 5% HP, but he's also very tanky, so waste a lot of extra shots there. Ram is now out. But Core, considering that he's free TC, I don't think he cares about this. And also blocking the boar. Are you kidding me? Well, this isn't about blocking the boar, but it's going to do it anyway. Which is where Myriad's getting about half of his food income currently. Meanwhile, Core's food income is ridiculous. We're up to 43 farms. Are the ranged fire attacks on units glitches from dagger throws? It's not even that. Like, well, it's weird because you are correct in that, like, it will put the dagger on cooldown quite often when it does that. But the whole throwing your torch thing is just a bug that's been in the game for a while. Sometimes, based on the tick rate at the server, when you change your units from burning buildings to attacking units, they'll throw a torch at them. Looks like the ball. Myriad done good to get most of the workers out of there. And now he's going to get most of his army into the enemy worker force. Core has to migrate the farms. We'll come in for the backstab now with the Ghulams. Crossbow count. We've been here before. This time it's not too bad. Not just that, guys. He has Springles now. Yeoman deny them. Still got one more to play with. That one is going to be safe. There's just not enough range fire to deal with this. And I think this is probably the least impactful dive we've seen from Myriad so far. Yeah, I mean, up to this point, he was at least getting reasonable trades. This one was atrocious. Hardcore on the verge now, taking the military lead for the first time in the game. Full back away coming through. You know what worries me is, like, in this game, I don't know, man. I think Myriad, if he had more manas coming in gradually over time, you can justify what he's doing. But he just seems to have completely lost control of his economy, and I don't think he's ever going to fix that. This guy has had way too much wood and gold. Okay, there we go. He's finally doing it. But just to really hammer it home, guys, he could have done this like 6 minutes ago. This is pretty rough. I don't know if Myriad just thought that he'd be able to go into max rams and end the game, and that's why he didn't invest. But even then, right, like the gold situation, he had so much gold and was not doing anything with it. Pretty rough game. I think that this is the curse of diving. You know, you could argue that your opponent is also distracted and, you know, he can't really pay attention to everything he's doing. But, you know, if you're not paying attention to your economy, the trade-off there of your opponent's economy not working doesn't make sense. Because if after the fight is done, you still don't fix your eco, the fact they were idled for a minute means nothing. Because you're gathering for a minute might as well have been idled as well, because you're not doing anything, right? Now he's starting to fix it at least. But he's starting to fix it at a point in the game where Core's got a 45 worker lead. You know, it's funny we were talking about Battle Ace at the start of this, because, like, you know, when you see someone have this much eco in reserve, you kind of feel like they need a game like Battle Aces just to take the edge off at the end of the day, you know? God, I'm still bummed out about that game. Like, I think that was the potential that was there. Battle Aces was, in some ways, more serious than other RTSs, and in other ways, less. In that, like, you could just focus on fight, you know? The best way I can describe it is, like, Battle Aces was kind of trying to be like a Smash Bros. Experience. Whereas, I guess you could say with, like, imagine if you think about fully fledged RTSs, it's like, imagine it wasn't just going to a game of Smash Bros. And fight. You had to, like, go train in the gym, and you had to perfect all of the, like, the different elements of, like, learning the skill sets before it even let you enter, sort of thing. Because, like, you can't play an RTS without all your eco details, etc., right? Oh, this is painful in the eco. Any losses at this stage, just unacceptable for Myriad. Sacred Site's now locked in. I think this game is close to over. Core now pushing for the first time into Myriad's base since that Camel Archer in the early game. Myriad will at least be able to suppress this first wave, but he will not be able to suppress the wave coming from the German. No, just so much gold still to work with. 3 Sacred Sites, 2 Relics. Vein access is more limited, mind you. The one weakness for Core. But I don't think it's going to be limited for long. He's gathering on stone to the north side. An eventual keep plan to come through. Whenever you watch Lord games, you're hyped, but they always disappoint. That's the thing. It's a support unit, right? Like, support units can be very hard to figure out. I think it's going to take time, but I think after people have cooked long enough, Lords are going to come out as the dominant build. It reminds me of the Imam meta strategy we currently have going for Ottomans, where, like, you know, that strategy has been there for a while. It's just kind of been slept on. You could argue that there was that Horseman buff that kind of affected a bit more. But, like, ultimately, the core ideas have been there. It's just the type of strategy that requires a lot more perfection than the other ones we're seeing win out at the moment. Myriad? I guess when you're down by 60 eco, it's probably a good time to build a TC. The good news is your opponent doesn't really have much more use for TC booming. He's almost capped. The bad news is it means that he's 60 workers ahead of you. Pretty tough position. Treb sieging into the keep on the north side, but I think this is great for Core. It just means he's going to get space to go for an 8k vein here if necessary. Military Academy is also coming. And Core is not really that far away from being popped. At which stage, we're going to be looking at Imperial. Alright, Myriad, he has got the final level of Manners unlocked. He's unfortunately also going to get found out in his gold. Has still got the 4k to the north side, so it's not the end of the world. Still, going to need some worker losses. I mean, the big problem now for Myriad is mobility, isn't it? He's got to try to move for the sacred sites, but at the same time, these horsemen dives into his base are going to keep him looking at home. Has at least got the white towers. That should stabilize him against this raid. It's not going to stabilize him for long. Culture Wing now on the way for Core. No signs of an age up from Myriad. He's fixed his gold issue, but I don't think it's really from a position of power. It's more now a lack of gold. Big reminder, by the way, guys. I think PCS had some new components deliver, some new options on the website. Be sure to check out PC Specialist right now. If you've been enjoying the streams, they look this good because we've been running full production off of one of their machines. Look at this Giga Machine Core with 40 Ghoulam. Marches on in for the white. Oh my god, this is brutal. Reminder, Ghoulam, they're insanely tanky. 224 HP. Doesn't really make Lords of Lancaster look good. Even if you had 4 of them, you wouldn't be as tanky as a Ghoulam on your Allsguard. That's brutal. Crossbow's just trying to wipe this front line. Of course, Yeoman target fire is good for Miro to try and get rid of them. The problem now is after this fight, the reboom. Core still has so much meat left in the patty. But the food income being 3x that of Myriad means an equal exchange, let alone a bad exchange, is simply unacceptable for the Hungarian. Core bad news is about to be delivered from his base to Myriad's screen in just 5 seconds. And Myriad, he's going to wish he was floating food, not wood, because he has no way of matching this good timing for core. Imperial's in. Culture Wing, meaning he's now going to get his discount of techs. His Preservation of Knowledge gets queued up straight away. We've already got the Golden Age free, which means he's got Military Academy plus production speed. That's over a 50% increase to production rate. Can you please cast with a Myriad Voice Tone? Oh, I don't think this looks really good right now. Nah, I'm not even going to try, dude. My voice is still scuffed. My daughter got me ill. I'd have to listen to him. I've listened to him before, but like I'm the type of person that has to listen and then I'll mimic. Well, this is not very good right now. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to do... It's got you more grumbly. But if I grumble, I'm going to make my throat worse. I'll leave the grumbling to Myriad, because he's the one that's about to take a bad beat here. Core. He moves in for the gold block. He's everywhere. Decap came through from Myriad, but whoopty freaking doodah. He doesn't need that to win the game anymore. Elite Tech's about to hit in just 20 seconds. The GG call might be before that. Myriad is in shambles. What does he do when the demons sieve loose? I didn't know they could lose. I'm confused. I thought they win everything. Why does Abba only have 3 golden ages while Ibids have 5? Because Ibids needs more potential unlock down the line, because a lot of the basic existence functionality is in like tempo timings anyway. Whereas Abbasids, they already get a lot of fleshed out timings via the wings. So I think it makes sense they only have 3. One sec. Excuse me. Yeah, I can't believe it, guys. Lancaster lost. And these are meant to be, like, equally skilled players. What's going on? Have we all been sleeping on Abbasids? Is there an S-tier event on the horizon? Yes. KPMM. Come on, guys. We have a prize pool almost as big as S-tier lands. Now, admittedly, it's spread over 40 weeks, but, like, that's not a lose for you guys. That's a win. Come on. What more do you need? Oh, I wonder if this will classify us as an A tier. I think so. I think this would make us an A tier event. KPMM would become an A tier event because of that. Alright, just having a look at our options here. I think Louis is scrimming right now. But, do we do... I reckon... Let's do the we think it's recon game, right? Actually, let me have a look at what games recon has had. Or what we think is recon. Let's see if he's matched up against any well-known players. I think CCCCCCC from China is maybe CSO. I'm pretty sure it's CSO, right? Is it? Is this one Scarlet or CSO? I'm pretty sure CCCCCC was CSO. So we've got a game between CSO. I think that one's still viewable. It might be too old. Damn it. Yeah, there was one that was kind of intriguing to me, which is Ibids versus Lancaster. That would have been pretty cool. KPMM returning with a bigger prize pool and with more game weeks added. Exactly. What's the new prize pool? The new prize pool is $20,000 spread across 40 weeks. So we are baller. We're big balls. When the labor for 9 months? Dude, it's been like 1 month. You know how they say you can't make a 1-month baby? Well, we did. XD. Alright, yeah, screw it. Let's do... Sorry, I'm just typing some things. I'm confirming some things in the background. Some importante things. Should we do the... Let's do the recon one. And then we clickbait the title. Is it recon? When's KPMM restart? More info is coming tomorrow. Tomorrow. Da da da. Tomorrow. Wait, I clicked the wrong Motherload account? Yeah, it's this one. Luckily, there's only 2 Motherloads. Thank goodness. Makes life easy for me. Alright. Motherload. Where is the game? I think it was... Yeah. Snack versus Motherload. Ibid versus English. Well, upload the games that weren't casted in the mainstream. What games? What are you on about? I'm confused. Him stop sponsoring weeklies? We're gonna review and renew. You have to realize that the thing you guys always have to realize is like when it comes to sponsorships that I bring into the scene. I mean, if it's not a fit, it's not a fit, right? But like, if there's no conversion or no understanding of potential, then it's not gonna get renewed. So right now with hymns, they're going through the process of like finding out whether it was worth it. That's why I always encourage you guys on things that are like easy lifts where it's completely free and it takes like a minute of your time. Please do it because it helps. So like I was saying to you guys, go on your phone, open the stream, put in !! masters, click the link and download that game. Like that's a Bejeweled type game for your phone. With some interesting twists. It might be for you. If it's not, then you just uninstall it afterwards. But you simply installing it means when I go and talk to like the sponsors, they'll go, wow, we got great conversions, KP. We want to sponsor you again. And the reason you want that is because then for a start, it allows me to put food on the table for my family without you guys having to reach in your pockets all the time. But the other thing is then I can be like, okay, guys, because we made, $1,000 off of Matchmasters, I'm going to now go and host 5 show matches, for example. Right? So that's the trade-off thing. On Steel Series Land, we covered the games they didn't cast on this channel. It's in my VODs. So you can find it in the VODs on YouTube. Not all of those games will get uploaded. We have to comb through with YouTube to what we edit upload, because that's just not uploading full series is the dented way of failing with a channel on YouTube, right? If you look at any single tournament that exists, very rarely do any of them have any tournament channel does not have great viewership based on just uploading full series, sadly. That's why if you look at, for example, with Dota 2, for years the most popular tournament channel on YouTube was a guy called Noob from UA, who would take a series and he'd edit down to the hype moment. So he'd take a 2-hour-long series and make it a 30-minute video. So you can't just VOD upload, right? Those days are long gone for most people on YouTube. There are rare exceptions, for example, if your name is Queso, you can probably do it. Don't play anything on your phone? What do you do when you're in the toilet? Hey, that's been my Matchmasters time. Matchmasters is if you gotta go drop a deuce. There's no shame, we all gotta do it. I'm happy to swipe some shapes and match them. It's nice. Alright, anyway, guys. Let's get ready. Guys, is it happening? Is he back? Has the chosen Chips and Pizza Man returned to us? He may have. Folks, this might be Recon. Snack, a.k.a. Recon, in the blue, has been grinding Iabids non-stop. This account started up last season. It is a fresh account. It is grinding hard, and it is seeing results already. Snack is ranked 14th in the world, primarily playing French, Iabids, and Lancaster. The account, sorry, it wasn't season 10. It was season 9 was their only active season. They got 23 wins, 0 losses, and stopped playing. So far, they've got 69 wins. Nice. 23 losses, a 75% win rate, and they're almost in the top 10. Honestly, we've watched one game of this guy so far, and with the way it's been playing, I would not be surprised if it's Recon. The thing you have to remember about Recon when he left Age of Empires 4 is that he was starting to take a more aggressive playstyle. So if you see this guy being very attack-oriented, which Iabids are great at, don't, don't be deceived and think, okay, I remember Recon being a turtler. And in fact, I'm going to put a question mark next to this. I think this is Recon based on playstyle. It fits with what I remember him doing towards the end of his AoE4 career. For those who are not familiar with Recon, a little bit of background on this guy. He was a top contender in Age of Empires 4 for quite a long time, until he moved across to Age of Mythology, where he's only really consistently played second fiddle to one man, a legend in his own right, of course, the Mister. Other side of this, Motherload. Motherload is another known player. This one right here, I'm pretty sure this is Mahodo. I'm 90% sure. It's a Polish account. Mahodo is by far the top ranking player out of Poland. English Iabids is an interesting matchup, though. I think English has some good timings if they go for a council hall rush. Especially on a map like Gorge, because it's just so exposed. It's easy to rush across and do damage. Does Recon have a Twitch account? Yes. I believe it was called AOL_Recon. Yeah, I think this might be the Trash Panda returning to us, which is pretty cool. Why is Top Contender crazy? Are you crazy? Are you high? Recon was regularly in top 16s. That, to me, classifies the top contender. Maybe you're a little bit more fussy. He's not in the grand finals. Okay. He's been in grand finals, though. Do you guys remember the very first tournament? EGC Genesis? You guys remember what the look of that was? Sorry, not grand finals, in the semifinals, right? It was Recon versus Viper semifinals. He even took a game off Viper when Viper was by far one of the scariest players. In fact, that was a tournament that Viper went on to win 4-2 in the finals against Mister. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. Like I said, not 100% sure with Recon, which is why we put the question mark there. But I know he has been circling around AoE4 again. You know, there's no doubt in my mind when he left to a game that he thought was better for what he enjoyed out of an RTS. But he's taken a recent look at AoE4 again, and we've even had him in chat saying, oh, I actually think that this meta is a lot better. So maybe we got him back. Had to be a champ candidate? No, at that point we'd be like grand finalists, right? Or something like that. I consider a contender someone who's like, oh, top 16, you can see them making like top 8s, right? Then they're on your radar. I don't know, I think in this scene, we quite often get way too obsessed with who's number 1 and number 2. And then when you like, the problem with people who do that, like the same people who see Anatan then get like third, they go, where did this come from? Or Louis MT get first and go, I don't understand how this happened, right? It's like, in those situations, the reason why people don't see that coming is they haven't been tracking beyond the top 3 finishes. Right? And I get it. It's like you've only got so much time. But this is why things like KPMM that we do are so critical in these type of scenes. Like, and I recommend wholeheartedly that people watch those things. Because they're a great way to get eyeballs on the upcoming names. Like, we've been casting on the ladder a bunch of unknown Chinese players that are beating or at least matching and barely losing against people who make top 8 finishes in AoE4 tournaments, right? Like, because those stories, they're waiting to be woven. And if you're always just watching Marine Lord, you never see them. It's crazy as well, because a lot of the time, their gameplay is just as entertaining, right? We had that Crackety game the other day that was more entertaining than most things we've watched out of the top 4 for a week or 2. Anyway, Dervish is pretty odd, by the way. It's Dervish Fast Castle. I wasn't expecting this out of Recon. The reason why you don't really see Dervish much anymore is ever since the Deershav died, you don't really have much you can do. Unless you want to try and build Desert Raiders to defend. But the weird thing in this game, guys, is that Mahodo has gone Abbey of Kings, Men-at-Arms against Iobids. Which might be the quickest way to hate life. Guys, Men-at-Arms against Iobids is a really bad idea in general. The reason is that if they build Desert Raiders, you get killed. Desert Raiders destroy Men-at-Arms, because Men-at-Arms, they only do 10 damage, and Desert Raiders have 5 HP. Add in the Dervish threat, and you've got a problem. I think what was happening here is Blue, if this is Recon, was thinking that this was going to be a longbow play. So he's going to keep his Dervishes at home, build an outpost to hide behind, Bob's your uncle. I think Motherload thought, hey, because this is FC, Men-at-Arms is my best way of stopping it instead of longbows. Ultimately, though, all you've done, you have stopped it temporarily, but once your opponent has, like, 2 Desert Raiders, your play is completely invalidated. So you have slowed his tech timing. I just don't know if it's really been worth it. Don't do this against Ayu? Yeah, I wonder why, Mahodo. Mahodo, who is Motherload. I love it when we catch games not live like this, because we can sit here. Obviously, I don't spoil the outcome, but Mahodo, for this early game, what was your thought process here? Because this is like, to me, this is odd. I'll be real with you, dog. This is real odd. Like, H3 Ayu, as an example, is a matchup that's like 55% H3 favored. It would be 75% favored if you were just a Men-at-Arms rushing, like, H3 play, right? The reason it's good for them is they build archers. English versus Ayu should be pretty good if you just open up with a few longbows. What's up, Mucklebow? Thank you very much for the Prime sub, mate. Appreciate it. Remember, guys, get the subs in. You forgot and realized after the first Raider game. Oh, God. Mahodo, how many hours do you put into AoE4 each week? I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm just, like, using this. Like, you know, you'll see where I'm going with this. How many hours? Oh, my God. Do you still not realize? Why are we building more Men-at-Arms? Oh. Mahodo's probably putting, like, what? 30 hours a week, at least? This is... And he's playing at high level. Like, this is proof, right? Like, it's okay to make mistakes, guys. Like, even at the highest level, there's nothing perfect about what's being played. You know, a BC or Marine Lord or whoever else is playing the finals regularly might convince you they're playing the perfect game. They're not. They are fighting against themselves and against the game constantly to make the least mistakes. Mahodo did make a pretty big one here. But Motherload might need Mama to bail him out because Schnack is on his way with the age up now. Growth Wing as well. All right, this even like even this kind of reeks of Recon. Like when he left, Growth Wing Castle was still very, very popular. But nowadays, I think it's fallen off pretty hard. A lot of people prefer the Desert Raiders. Understandably, probably not the biggest priority here, just because although English have men-at-arms now, if they build into the longbows, your Desert Raiders are completely pointless. But still, remember, he has got these dervishes. He's already out in the middle of the map, so you can think about those relics soon. And well, finally, we've realized bows are pretty good at slaying camels. It did take a while, didn't it? So first longbow hits the field. Credit to him, actually, Pink's tech timing isn't too far behind that of Blue's. What do you think, Mahodo? Mahodo, you were around when Recon was still playing, right? Do you think this is Recon? So, like, the thing that's suspicious to me is, like, the timing they came back, the account is from the UK, and also kind of the way they've been playing. Kind of feels like Recon. Recon's all, I don't know, Recon gets like a bad rap as a defensive player. He likes defending, but he's been expanding into aggression in the last year or two. And then outside that, the other thing with Recon is like, his playstyle's always been a bit odd. Like, as in, it's been a bit off meta. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you would have been competing. Well, you started to get into it with that team tournament, right? I think that's where you got a taste for the competitive, and then you switched over. Which was around when Recon, I think, was starting to dial down and prepping for Age of Myth. Stone Gathering coming in as well from Schnack, so we are going to see some Springwood placements to defend him. There's a lot of Stone Gathering actually from Blue. What the? Wheelbarrow's going to complete just in time there. Not even a single loss. However, the Dervishes came all the way home, which means he hasn't got any relics. On top of that, Pink savings paid off. King's Palace is coming through. Yeah, goes to the 2TC. Smart choice as well up against the Growth Wing. Needs to recover the difference. I'm reading an article that confirms that otakus are no longer the most vegan. That tout now goes to extreme streamer fans. That's because being a fan of a streamer isolates you socially more than being a weeb. Got it. So by me being... So wait. So just to clarify, really, like I'm gonna read between the lines here what Leave is saying. Leave is trying to blame me for why he doesn't get laid. Is that correct, Arcleave? Because you watch pretty much all the streams. It sounds to me like you don't want it to be your Riz level. That's the problem. It's me stream. My apologies that me streaming so much has been the biggest cork blocker to your life. Relic's coming home. Pink is going to play Relic blocker on the remaining though. We don't have men-at-arms upgrade as a priority. Crossbow's coming out, which makes sense to Camel Lancers and Golems. KB taking all the women? What are you on about? I've taken one woman. Taken is also a strong word. Like, dude, I'm not Bowser. Alright? Like, I couldn't be Bowser. I don't have enough kids to fill the castles to be Bowser. I'd be able to fill 2 castles. I think with the crossbows coming out, though, and this is the thing, right? Like, right now, Blue has a timing where he should be able to get all the relics, probably. I hope he's prepping for 2TC after this. Because, like, that's a very nice transition. Because the problem now is, like, your opponent's building crossbows, you're going to get ultimately countered here, right? But that takes time, which should make it much harder for him to fight in the interim. It's usually quite helpful if we take the relics home, though. Oops. Well, the other one's going to be coming in soon, though, no? Wait, is Pink is actually playing for relics? Are we drunk? I think we're drunk on hopes and out of aspirations here. There's no relics. They're all going to come... Oh, that was sick. Blue, he dropped the relic and went back from the further away one before the army could get in range. That was so sick. Because he knew he wouldn't be able to hold there much longer. But now we're in Springwood range. And your opponent doesn't have enough crossbows to insta-snipe a dervish, so he's going to get the 5 relics. All right, we cooking. That was pretty sick. Big brain move locks in the 5 relics. And all of a sudden, Wall's now coming up. Now this starts to look a bit more like the recon I remember. If it is indeed him. So he's going to look to insulate himself against all threats and hunker down. Because when you've got 5 relics, like, you could argue, why does he not just use this gold advantage to push the map? Why? It's much easier to now just play defensive and make your opponent come into you currently. Because there's no real current threat to you, right? Like, he's the one who has to make a move, is the theory. Now, one upside that Pink does at least have is English farms are really cheap, so you can blow up to infinite food quicker than Ibids can. In fact, kind of surprised that Ibids is actively gathering this much gold. What he needs is more wood. Wood is the priority form here for blue, because you're looking for that farm transition, right? Berries aren't going to last forever, and you know this game can now drag because, I mean, it's English. Why gather this much stone? I think he's going in placements, but then it's eventual 2TC. Like, I think 2TC makes a lot of sense. Potentially even 3TC we used to see a lot from Ayu. But like a classic build, remember, would have been Growth Wing and Castle, get 5 relics, build 3TC. Or be very sad when you can't build 2TC because you're 1 stone short. Oh, come on. That's painful. Please, just... At that point, just send one of these villagers over. Alright. He's just going to go for more emplacements. Why? I'm trying to figure out, like, what Blue's next goal is, because it's a bit of an enigma right now. Is he thinking Imperial for Desert Raider Wing? He has enough food on the map for that. I think it's kind of smart. Remember, if you get the Desert Raider Wing, you spawn 7 raiders for free every 2 minutes, which equates to, I believe, 680 resources a minute in unit generation. Now, technically, that unit is very bad to build against English in Castle Imperial, because they're going to usually be doing crossbows and longbows. But it would give him a raider. You think weebs are the majority of the internet? Maybe. Do you feel like, you know, there's people who come in, like, weebs, and then they have, like, cringe face or whatever it's going to be, right? Like, put Dan's game. Do you think those people are actually secretly weebs? But, like, yo, like, if I don't say something, someone's going to realize I'm a weeb. I think that's really what's happening there. People who shame weebs are secretly weebs themselves. They're closet weebs. King's King is push on. That has put Blue back into production. We still don't have any farms at all. But 23 on wood now suggests we will be getting towards it soon. Love the herbal medicine, actually. Herbal medicine is kind of underrated on Dervish with the AoE heal. We're all weebs in these blessed days. I'm not a weeb. I'm a super weeb now. Actually, I haven't really watched that much anime recently. I put a lot of hours into making sure you guys are entertained. It doesn't leave much time for anime anymore. Flash coming in. A good place to fight for Blue. It's a little bit worrisome, that backline of crossbowmen, but he'll be able to reach it soon enough. The healing is doing a lot of work, just elongating the lives here. Springles would benefit from targeting down the crossbow line, though. All in all, Blue will start to push this away. The small dive to the backside not going to achieve much. Pink, back to the drawing board, I'm afraid. I think this is maybe a little bit too soon, and now they're going to be punished for it. Remaining Camelots is marching in. He does go for the Dervish Knight. That will be enough to scare Blue off. Still, this Sproner placement is a pain in the ass. I think a lot of casuals actually sleep on how important and how powerful Sproner placements are. Like, if you want to really level up your defense, it's incredible just how much value you can get from 1 or 2 outposts. Like, if you actually look back at so many games we cast of AoE4, you'll notice they are an anchor point for defenses so often. I mean, just look at it. It's just killed so many units. Think about the maths of it as well, right? Springald costs, like, what was it? 200 resources, fortification for 100. That's 300 plus the outpost. You're like, what, 400 resource investment? If you know your opponent has to attack you there, you're going to probably get paid over double the investment as the game goes on. Especially when it's things like crossbowmen. I think it's especially underrated when you're against crossbows and you're using, like, a men-at-arms defense. Because then you can just kite them and force them to kill themselves. Why defend, just attack? See, Visual, this is where, like, I can tell your brain needs to evolve more, and we're here to help you with that. So, what you've misunderstood there is that your belief is that an outpost can only be built in your own base. That, my friend, is a fallacy. You can build springald emplacements in the enemy base. Alright? You just gotta have more confidence. But you can see how many units were killed by other units and towers. That's the problem. If we knew that, more people would build springald emplacements and then they get nerfed. See? It's all the syndicate. It's all a pyramid scheme to hide the truth. Truth is, this fight looks terrible for Pink. Does at least dodge the mangonel shots. But Desert Raiders are actually diving past this, looking for the trade out. Still got the heal as well from the Dervish. Pink. He's at least dodging the mango shots to minimize the losses, but like overall, I think Blue does need to at some point find a push in. 5 relics is really strong, but you are still against 2 TC. Looks like he's fixing that though. We've got 2nd TC now coming in from the Ibits. Recon question mark. How are we looking? What do we really need at this point? I think that the big concern for me is the farm count. It's been a little bit slow to come online. He's only at 10 currently. I guess Desert Raiders is nice for that. Part of the cost in wood, part of it in gold. So it kind of minimizes your food investment. But the Ghulams, on the other hand, very pricey. 120 food each. So he definitely needs to flesh that out further, because that's something that Pink has got a lead on him. We're talking 30 farms already. Thought Recon was the AOM player. He's both. Actually, you guys realize that he's not the only AOM player that started coming back. Super Efim, who was doing reasonable in Age of Mythology, has also been playing AoE4 again. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Push continues. Desert Raiders starting to become the main focus of this composition for Blue. Probably a good idea considering just how many crossbows have been being spammed. I wonder if instead maybe Blue could just look towards archers, but maybe he's worried about his opponent going men-at-arms. My counterpoint to that would be, why don't you just build Springald plus Archer? Sounds a bit weird, but like you essentially frontline with the Archers, because the Springalds will kill any melee units quick enough. At that point, your opponent's only choice is Cav, which is the dream. If you can force someone to Cav, you're in good control. Who's Motherload? Motherload is Mahodo from Boulder Esports. It's so awkward to step up like this. Remember, Desert Raiders will chase you down when you start to show weakness. At risk of being very weak here. The Springalds are being ignored because remember, they don't directly counter anything now the Ghulams are dead. So you can kind of leave them to last and just deal with the crossbowmen. They're a bigger threat. Good spread. Pink just tries to not stack too much against the mangoes. But the military lead doesn't really exist for Motherload. On top of that, the eco lead is most definitely not there. He has at least got a lot of food income. The farms, remember, for the English are a lot more efficient with the influence. The Hybrids at least offset some of that with their Golden Age effect. And on top of that, we're now in a position where with farms coming online, Blue could seriously start to consider Imperial. You got trashed by him twice today? Yeah, Kilyadi, we caught the we caught the Abbasid Roost game the other day. The replay was sent to me by someone who's not Recon, but my suspicion is that this is Recon. I don't know. What do you think, Kilyadi? Playstyle-wise, from what you remember, does it feel like him? Like, old Recon was more defensive. Then again, in this game, he's felt kind of defensive. But Recon, towards the end of his journey in AoE4, was really trying to venture into being a more aggressive player. Like, he was the one to discover the Horseman Lombo value play that most Byzantine players now live and die by, that eventually evolved into the 1-1-1 build. How many farms now? Hodo, up to 46. I don't like that Blues had to slow down like this. It's actually kind of worrisome now, the way he's had to hunker down. I will say it feels like old Recon in that... And I don't know why he would have returned to that, in the way that he's playing Ibids. Like, he's essentially trying to play Ibids as a macro civ. In fact, everything about his gameplay, really, from a strategic standpoint, the choice to go Dervish into Growth Wing, the hunker down approach now against English farm spam. Instead of playing Camel Lancers, playing wide flanks, right? Maybe a little bit of overconfidence. This happens to even the best of players. When you get 5 relics, you kind of feel like the game is yours, and your opponent's the one who really has to do something. But English can be one of those civs that says no to that concept, just because of how good their economy gets off of farm spam. Not to mention, triple Sacred Site actually gives a comparative amount of gold, right? It's 400 from the relics versus 300 from the Sacred Sites. Speaking of which, there is now going to be a fight over the central one. We've got outpost emplacements as well. Not to mention the aura, which is going to be becoming clutch here. Ping, this is a good fight. The healing trying to help out, but Blue's front line is dying a little bit too fast here. Yeah, and now the spear is able to access that back and chase them away. Crossbows will not clear up spears quickly here. And the crossbow lead is undoubtedly with Pink. Horsemen are now rallying forward, but they're trickling in at this stage. And a trickle in is a problem. If it's just a trickle of horsemen, they'll die to the crossbows too fast. The Mangoes have done well, but not well enough. They get sniped out. Pink pushes him away. Sacred Site win condition was denied on the flanks, though. Blue with the foresight to eliminate that win con. Might need an air con soon with how sweaty this game is getting. Pink in a very powerful position now, folks. Blue has been reduced to next to nothing, right? Pink, he's got the 40 crossbows. This is the big arm flex type point. 40 crossbows is usually the number where people like thumbs up. You're going to have to counterplay this hard. Blue tried to go into Horseman, did not work. And now, because he's so far behind, he knows there's already Spearmen, he's going to need to think different. I think potentially Springle spam could be a way for Blue. Going for the Desert Raider rush, Imperial is not going to be good enough either, I don't think. Little bit of poke on the flank here. Wall's going to break soon. I like that Blue's now trying to raid. I don't like that he waited this long. No, I don't know. I think Recon is going to take some time to readjust to like the new timings of AoE4. The way he's playing definitely feels like the meta when he left. Like it made sense what he was doing. But players have evolved beyond that. The average Age of Empires 4 Pro is substantially more aggressive than they were like 2 years ago, I'd say. Because remember, 2 years ago, we had the 2TC meta, which was one of the longest lasting metas from what I remember. I think in Recon's mind, what he was kind of expecting is that Pink would just try to go Imperial Age because you're English. Why wouldn't you want the Fort Phage when you get passive gold? And that he'd be able to double down and find an attack point. But instead, it's not going to play out that way at all. Oh, Crackety has now said it's Recon, so that must just make it official at this point. I don't know, like, I'm like 95% sure it's Recon. I like the mystery of not being 100%, you know what I mean? It's a good sign for the game, though, folks. That means the Age of Myth players are coming back. Whether someone like Mr. Will, I'm not so sure. But we already said Super Efim, who was an Age of Myth Pro, has come back to AoE4. I don't think they'll be the last. I think there'll be more. There'll be some people that will ride and die by Age of Myth and just stick with it. But I think those that are looking to like make a serious esports career, the reality is, as cool as Age of Mythology is, I highlighted this about it a while ago. I love Age of Myth. It's got a place in my heart. But it's an old game that's been redefined. And it wasn't the most popular game in the series. So it does give it a much more limited reach. Flash coming in. Golems are not going to last long against those Springald shots. Man, the crossbows are just making quick work of them alongside the big boy crossbows. Spears have been cleared, though. But Wingard just completed. The reason why this fight is so close is because Pink just invested 3,600 in a tech up. But the Spruan placements, we talked about how good they are. I think you're starting to see it here, but only on both sides, right? Like, Pink learn from Recon, from that early in placement, just how valuable they could be. And they're proven to be in these type of pushes. Because at this stage, Blue doesn't really have much front line left. There's only 2 Golems here, which means your crossbows that get 2 hit by Springalds are now getting targeted down. He's going to get baited into diving past it. Like, this part was the easy part of the fight. Killing these crossbows, very hard mode. Now it looks like Horseman spam on the way. Elite tech upgrades. He actually is prepping longbows. Interesting. I guess to mirror the archer spam coming out on the other side. I mean, there's still Golems, which is why it's kind of intriguing that you do this. But I like it that he's also prepping the men-at-arms. I think men-at-arms at this stage is just your wing con. The extra armor, like even if you're into crossbows, they last quite a long time. Looks like timer has now been reinstalled. 9 minutes to go. Another Spruan placement coming in, a little bit wasteful. Like, wait, did he actually... I didn't know. Did that get refunded? I think it might have just in time. But now the Horseman's starting to show up. Blue needs a lot more Golem to remain threatening here. Hand Cannoneer switch coming in from Pink. Alright, Pink, we need to chill. You're like basically just pressing every button. He queued Veterancy for Lombos and I'm like, why am I doing this? Just go Hand Cannoneers. Love the Wingard Raider idea. Actually, Wingard Raiders are really, really cool here. It's just all about getting numbers. At this stage, Pink has good enough economy at 120. He just needs a way of using that economy quick enough. And Wingard Raiders is exactly that. You produce 6 units in 25 seconds. It's very lean, very, very efficient, rather. Recon scaling into Manganiques. Not really as impactful as it used to be. You know, maybe it's the blast from past logic again. Like, you go back to when Recon played, this was a very solid play. You've done a lot of damage with mass mangoes in castle. That's not the case anymore. They lost a lot of value these days. I think Recon is about to lose a lot of army. The Horseman wave coming in. That's the Wingard Raiders. There's only crossbowmen left. 22 Horsemen is enough to sweep that all aside. The Golem wave was held in reserve. In fact, I'm kind of confused. I feel like Recon has consistently not had all Golem in this engagement. Maybe he's got really far away production or something. But the numbers just look a little bit off. And so does the game plan. GG gets called. What do you guys think? AoE 4, 2025, our best year yet. Old players coming home, new players joining in, other scenes shrinking, and players looking to us. Could this be the beginning of the golden age of AoE 4? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you all in the next chapter. Myth Grand Finalist returns to Age of Empires 4. Dun, dun, dun. Is this KPMM? Oh. Announcement for KPMM should be for tomorrow. Alright. Uno momento. Oopsie. What button did I just press there? Oh, wait. Doesn't, like, Windows 11 have that virtual machine built in? Because I just had desktop 1. There was another option. I think so. Who was Burr? Oh, that's right. That was Calp. Mist is the best Age of Myth player? Yes. But then when you talk about second, at least since the relaunch, you're basically splitting, I think, between Recon and Magic as the two, right? Or say Mister and Magic. But like based on Retold, like your top three were Mister, Recon, and Magic. I'm not sure about the most recent tournament. Like definitely in 2025, it was those three. Okay. Let's do a Demu game. Let's do Ravane versus Demu. Oh, whoops.
Though he descends from Isabella,
I may have just accidentally clicked on Agincourt. Woo! Look, I'm Conk. It's not bad. 10 minutes 28 isn't a bad timing, actually. I reckon I could knock a minute off of that. I just like don't play regularly enough to like muscle memory what I need to muscle memory. That's why. Knights Across from Rose won the highest selling expansion in franchise history. Not according to Reddit. Reddit just moans about it, right? I don't know, like people would like say it was a poor like value prop. I would say for what it was priced at, I put it as like a mid value prop. Mid to like maybe slightly higher. Because like the two civs were very well thought out, minus the mana spam being like broken. But like overall, like there was a lot of good that came with that. A lot of cool ideas. And we got loads of maps as well. Yo, what's up, Connor? Thank you very much. Potatoes for the pigeon. Appreciate you, buddy. Is that some good old chips for me to get? Thank you, mate. Hope you're having a good day. Appreciate you, bud. Oh. So, let's go ahead. Which map did we want? So there's an HRE versus... Order the Dragon one that I want. That's the one. So, going to Gorge. Very good civs? Yeah. I think Sons just raised everyone's... But the thing is, Sons Ascend was, like, underpriced. I think anyone who says that Sons Ascend wasn't underpriced is insane. Sons Ascend, for what it had in it, was pretty underpriced. Personally, I'm still of the take that I'd rather we have a freemium system. I don't think it makes sense to, like, charge for expansions in 2025 because, like... Has anyone seen that game called Wildgate? You guys seen that game? It seems like a fun, quaint game. It reminds me of like Guns of Icarus type thing. So you have a team, you own a ship, you fly around, you beat these little islands, you get gear, and then you upgrade your ship. And then you go and you attack other areas, and eventually you encounter the other player teams, and you fight them. Quirky little thing. Seemed okay when I played the beta. But the problem with it is it wants you to pay $35. It also, I think it has skins in the game on top of that, right? But like, there's no reason why that couldn't have just been a free model and buy, right? Like, the publisher behind it, like Dreamhaven, they have a game called Mechabellum, which I've cast once or twice. It has the exact same problem, where like, it's actually the perfect type of game to just sell cosmetics in. But they want to get you to pay, I think it's like 15 or 20 bucks to enter it. And for a lot of people are just going to be cheap like that. And also the value of having like the free players keep the paying players around anyway. Right? So yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate because I see these type of games, I see the potential avenue to success, but then I see that they get in their own way because they don't want to accept like the world we live in. I think, do you know how you avoid doing freemium models, guys? Do you know the way that you avoid doing freemium models? Is when you're single player focused. When you're multiplayer focused, it's more imperative that you get faces in the lobby, right? Like, I think multiplayer focused games need a lot more bloat because then you also have things like server cost. And also there's an element, I don't know if you guys ever had this, when you look at a game, you're like, oh, I think this game's kind of cool. But I can see that it's already down to like only a few thousand people playing. And they're an online-only game or whatever, right? It's not going to be around for long, so why would I invest in it? Anyone else ever had that? I think a lot of people have that. Maybe I'm overestimating like the foresight of like your average gamer, but I think there is definitely a subgroup of gamers that have that thought. They're like, well, why would I invest? Like, you know, a perfect industry for this, and it's why they all are free, MMORPGs. Where you're like, why would I invest 50 hours for this to potentially get shut down when I know World of Warcraft and Guild Wars are going to be here for years? Oh, blurry glasses. All right, you guys ready for it? One sec. Let me set up the name plate, actually. RuneScape stays winning? I haven't played RuneScape in years. Can any of you guess what the two big MMOs were for me when I was growing up? There's two that really like got the most hours out of me. If you watch enough, you probably know, because I've talked about them before. RuneScape? No. Played a bit of RuneScape because of one of my friends, but nowhere near as much as the other ones. So there were two. And they were... Oh, also, what the hell? Why is... Was that lower bar showing in the previous recording? No. For some reason, we've now got... Okay, we're good now. I don't know why I've done that. No, so the two MMO RPGs that filled up my childhood were Guild Wars, because I ain't going to pay for World of Warcraft subscription, lol, and my Maple Story. Maple Story, because Emma was really into it. I put hundreds of hours into that. Guild Wars had hundreds upon hundreds of hours too. I probably would have put thousands upon thousands. The only reason I didn't is eventually I got a keylogger. My sister downloaded something on our family PC, and we got keylogged, and then I lost all my stuff. I didn't want to play anymore. But like Guild Wars still to this day does not get enough credit for how incredible the game it was. Guild Wars 1. You'll never see another game like Guild Wars 1, I don't think. Maple Story was a bit of a weirder one. Maple Story is very much like Brain Dead grindy. But it works. Is AW4 multiplayer focused though? Most of the player does mostly solo. I'd be intrigued to see the stats. It's more multiplayer leaning than most RTSs. It's in that category. It just wasn't meant to be. They just pivoted to it. Alright, you guys ready? Let's go. Is it time for revenge or the old guard to retire? Let's find out. We're checking in on ladder play between Ravane and Dumu. Dumu, multiple times on this day, queuing into Ravane. And this was all played off stream, actually. So not when Dumu was live. It was done on a Monday, was my understanding. Or was it a Wednesday? Actually, maybe this was. I'd have to double check the days. But I have not seen this one. I didn't glance on the stream. Ravane versus Dumu, or the Dragon HRE matchup. Remind me, guys, do you remember the Ravane game we had on Gorge before? I think Ravane was on HRE, and Dumu might have been OOTD. So this could be boot on the other foot here, folks. Reminder, Ravane, very talented pub stomper. If you're not familiar with this name, you definitely don't watch this channel, because Ravane has been on here a few times. He's currently ranked 8th in the world. There is also the not Ravane account, which is ranked in 8. Wait. They are both his. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're both his. So Ravane, like, he has one account that shows up as being in Germany and another one that shows up as being in the USA. But Ravane is actually from the Middle East. So, free continent coverage. Pretty confusing guy. But a little bit surprised we actually haven't seen him take to tournament play at all. I'd love to see him start playing at the KPMMs that are going to be starting up again soon. Dumu has been a frequent feature there. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, though. I think Dumu had maybe one grand final placement. Let me double check. I'm actually curious on it now. I think Dumu might have never made it to... There was one or two, right? Yeah, there were 2 times that Dumu made it to the grand finals of our weeklies. Outside that, he was always semi-finals and out or earlier. I think that plays nicely for Dumu as well. Otherwise, he'd have to stay up quite late. Bless him. And this is cool. So we've got him playing out into the deer. This is something that HRE just does so well, especially if you're thinking about mine work. He hasn't pulled the prelate, though, right? Oh, wait, so I'm an idiot. He's playing all the dragon. HRE on the other side. My brain. But OTD does do this very well. I was a little bit confused at first in my brain because he brought 7. Normally, this type of play is 5 villagers because an outpost secures them all. If you bring 7, you need 2 outposts to protect. You guys are surprised I wasn't a hardcore RuneScape guy? I think I had like maybe 100 hours or so into it. My best friend really loved that game, so I played it a bit. And then even Emma played it a little bit as well. But like, yeah, the main one for Emma that she played a lot of was MapleStory. And MapleStory was one that kind of has bounced back into my life at times, occasionally. Like, I think last time was 3 or 4 years ago. And I have multiple characters like level 200 plus in that game. So yeah, shamefully a lot of time put into that. The one I really want to revisit is Guild Wars. Guild Wars is, I don't know, going back to it, I almost want to leave it be. I feel like going back to it, it'll never quite match up to what my childhood was. Just a different time and a different game. Not a different approach necessarily from OTD here. We are going to be getting the mine work. Archon on the other side. A little bit surprised Ravane did not want to go for the mine work. Guess he feels like he needs the Archon to either duck out of H2 quick enough, or so that he can inflate his eco good enough to contest. Yeah, I think this is more about if you have to play Feudal, you have the option now. You could argue that mine work's pretty good for that too. Yeah, actually very good. Because All Pikes is, I think All Pikes is quite powerful against OTD. As Order of the Dragon are most reluctant to play into Gilded Archers. Right, so you can get value out like the spears and then you switch horsemen. And the idea is like your opponent is immobile compared to you. Instead, it might actually be Dumu that gets the opportunity to be aggressive party here. A reminder, by the way, I think this is a double top 10. Both players tippity top, actually. Yeah, I've been taking advantage of the fact that some players have been a little bit more docile. Remember, we've had people traveling home, such as Beastie. Wham, I think he started playing again yesterday. I think Puppy Paw is maybe taking a little bit longer of a break. Vortex taking a break. I think Luciferon just hasn't been really bothering at the moment. Yeah, some people have been taking full advantage of that, by the way. Crackety is up to rank 7 in the world. Louis MT, I like how he just had to immediately get home. And you know how some be like, well, you know, we had to fly halfway around the world. I'm going to take a break. Now, the guy's already back grinding to increase his elo advantage as rank 1 in the world. I think if there's any player that... Has any player ever cracked 3k elo on ladder? I think if any player was likely to do it, it'd be Louis. Because I think he just puts more hours in than anyone. Like maybe it's the youthful spring of it? I don't know. Whatever it is, he just puts a ridiculous number of hours in. Don't think anyone's cracked 2600. Yeah. I think 2500's been done. But we're early days in the season, and for those wondering, Louis MT is currently about 2400 elo. It's got to happen eventually, right? You guys remember that happened quite a lot in AoE 2 for a while, where you had players like Hera and Viper, I think, where they were getting several hundred elo ahead, to the point that they just didn't bother queuing anymore because it wasn't worth it. So they would just only scrim. That was actually a big part of why we create KPMM, by the way, is to also help in case we ever get to that point where that starts to be encountered, is the players would have a realm where they could actually, like, you know, unleash against people who should be the type of people they want to be queuing into. Well, looks like we're actually getting men at arm spam coming out from Dimmy. Outpost is already up, though, in Ravane. It's gonna be his favorite. Oh, this is a Ravane classic. This man does Burgrave more than any player I know of in Age of Empires 4. I'm not even... This is not hyperbole. This is not exaggeration. Ravane is a Burgrave specialist. It's actually how he first came to our attention. This man would go Burgrave, but he does it in a different way, a weird way. He'll often look to try and do spears. I think in this matchup, because you've seen a men-at-arms, you're probably thinking heavy maces. But you want to be careful to look for the second. If you don't see any more men-at-arms, this to me looks really suspicious. Like, I would be like, okay, MAA is kind of a bait. He's switching up on me. And the other thing is, if your opponent is going Castle Age, he's going to get Gilded Crossbone, he's going to get Gilded Knights. So actually, what you want to do is read into that and think, okay, Spearman's actually a lot better here. Because Spearman will counter Gilded Knights. They don't get countered hard by Gilded Crossbowmen. And then on top of that, it leads to me being more lean and fatter on my clump. He nibbles at the bait. So Ravain goes into the men-at-arms. Dimmu is going to be reacting with his own Burgrave, now coming up. Here's a march out towards relics for Ravain. Ends up pulling back. Interesting. The weird thing is that these are early men-at-arms. Okay, so there is a commitment now. Veterancy's coming. The other funny thing here, guys, is like the Guild of Men-at-Arms is actually not that fast. Wait, is he actually just, like, what is going on here? Why did he just duck out? He just left him. Oh, because he's timing, right? Like, he knows the tech up's got to be happening because he hasn't seen any more men-at-arms. So if he doesn't march across now, the MAA player is going to get, like, no value. That is a wild ego chow from Dimmu, by the way. I thought we might be seeing crossbowmen straight away. It's just straight up more men-at-arms, which I guess makes sense, right? He's got the Burgrave. But I didn't expect him to go for the Golden Cuirass as well. Might be we see crossbowmen coming in by, like, minute 11. He needs some sort of defense soon, though. Villager going to go down on the gold. Very limited in what he has access to here. Can afford, what, 4 of the men-at-arms currently? Vayne also a little bit delayed in his relic gatherings here. Has got 1 relic into the base. Wait, did he die to a scout? Looks like it. The problem here, though, is Ravain, because he didn't go for Regnants, he doesn't have a monastery to build additional prelates. Men-at-Arms do not have the heavy maces, so fight against the Guild of Men-at-Arms, not a good one. It's not just the raw HP difference. Remember, these MAA, they strike quicker, so the DPS value exchange is actually a lot closer than you think. 1 versus 2. Good news for Ravain, this is not a 1 versus 2 fight. Bad news is Dimmu is scaling actually quite quickly. That's the power of the Burgrave with the huge 35% discount. Allows you to afford these MAA like no other. 156 resources for a unit with these stats is kind of crazy. That pathing, even crazier. And now, the crazy timing. That's right, folks. It's absolutely bonkers here. We've got heavy maces coming in. This tech is so scary for the trade with them and arms. Due to the count, actually. Diving on the other side is also not going to work. Good reaction so far at Ravain. My only concern is that we're not seeing more relics. I'm a little bit worried that Dimmu is somehow going to snake this. And we do also have him going prelate, so he's thinking about it. This game needs this friendly fire? Why? What's wrong with you? Who hurt you? The problem... dude. The problem is, as cool as and immersive as I find the idea of friendly fire in a lot of games, the reality of what friendly fire does is it turns games into gross griefs. That's all that would happen from it. People would just grief other people. Men-at-Arms. Oh, they're hunting. Yeah, he's looking for the corner. And he's definitely going to find it. Nice. This is a great read. So, went looking for the board, didn't see any gathering there, dives to the deer. No tech stars, but there is at least wheelbarrow, which should allow him to minimize losses here. And wait, was he A-click? No, dude, I think he might have been A-click there. Oh my god. The clock is ticking. Ravain has at least got majority relics, but not by much. It's going to end up being a 3-2 split, which Dimmu has to be happy with. Considering how like outnumbered you're meant to be, the idea with Burgrave HRE is numerical advantage. The idea of Order Dragon Burgrave is efficiency of scaling. It's 2 different perspectives, and the idea is that Ravain should be winning early castle, but Dimmu should be winning mid castle with this. Even dragging the relic over to feel a little bit safer, but wait, no, that's not how that works. Ravain, no! Wait, he drops the oh, God. Okay, so it's actually going to be Dimmu getting the majority of relics. That's ridiculous. This heavy mace is not really delivering the trade outs that Ravain was looking for here. He's also going to discover the Guild of Crossbowmen. This is where Ravain needs to start thinking switch up. The good news is, because he's got the Archon, he's going to have the food gradually to get into things like Horsemen. The bad news is, we aren't there yet. He only has 6 farms in his base. Pretty pathetic. Infinite melee fight? I mean, I guess in a way, crossbowmen are melee, right? You know, like, it's... If you think about the logic that the projectile is getting close and personal with you, you know, the crossbow bolt is technically in close quarter combat with your face. See? Did you see how that crossbow got right up in his face before hitting? So you are technically correct. And oh, master of the melee! The Landsknecht? I was not expecting this. Gilded Landsknechts out of Dimmu. I guess he might be running out of food access, so this is a good lean optimization. It leans into gold instead. And he's knowing that he's getting better relic gains than expected. So with 3 relics, probably feels quite confident that he can afford this. Villagers are getting harassed again. I think, honestly, like this stage for Dimmu, just wall the corner. It's such a nice spawn for walling. And that will delay the men-at-arms ever getting in long enough for your army to always react. He can lose those relics? I don't see how. I think Ravain's men-at-arms plan has fallen apart. Like, he needs a switch now. So if you're arguing, yeah, he could lose the relics in this type of game state 5 minutes from now, yeah, I get you. But currently, based on their armies, there is no world in which Dimmu should really lose those relics. It would be a good idea to move them eventually. And also, as all the Dragon HRE usually want to anyway, because you want to garrison them in defenses. Nice bait there. Dimmu almost lost the Lansk. Ends up baiting him into a bad fight. So yeah, preferably what you want to be doing here as Dimmu is like just moving them back eventually into wherever you build your farms. And outposting up. But the cool thing about this build from Dimmu, remember, he has no Archon to limit his placement. So he could technically just build his farms in this corner and wall this entirely, right? And then emplacements, outpost emplacements in this area. Which I think is probably his goal eventually. It's easier to protect than the center. And the other thing is there's also a boar here and a lot of wood. So what upsides does Ravain have? He's going crossbows now, which is nice, but he took so long to make the switch. Yeah, it's almost like he just kept going men-at-arms, thinking this will eventually break him. And, spoiler alert, it did not. Not just that. Yo. Alright, without looking it up, say in chat what you think the name of this tech is. I know, but there's a difference between you and me knowing. I watch way too much Age of Empires 4. It eats up a big part of my life. I would forgive most people forgetting what this tech was. Because you just don't see it, right? You don't often see mine work. You definitely don't see Landsknechts that often. Order the Dragon are quite good for the Lansk. It's just usually too economically expensive. It's Zornhau. Yes, that's right. This tech that adds in a damage over time effect, a bleed, with each swing that can take off, I believe it's 10 HP across 5 seconds against all applied targets. Doesn't sound like a lot, but like if you think about this strike in a fight, you're maybe going to hit 4 units with 1 strike. Let's say they didn't try to walk away. Well, if you hit 4 units, that's an additional 40 damage. It's really, really powerful. Makes them very identifiable for snipes. That's true. I feel like they stand out already with their very big golden swords, which, by the way, like, can we just all agree? The real reason why Order the Dragon sucked for so long is because we all follow Minecraft logic. You don't build your weapons out of gold. We talked about RuneScape earlier. These guys spent too many hours in RuneScape. They didn't realize we're living in a Minecraft world. Oh, dude, I just remembered. I still need to try that Minecraft RTS. Not Minecraft Legends, or whatever that crap was. That game was bad. But someone made a mod. A mod that turns Minecraft into an RTS. I really need to get that spin up. So, big stalemate now. Who does it benefit more? Dimmu is in a decent position now. I think skill on this Gilded Crossbow count is going to be better for him than it is for Ravain with his crossbows. Just because, like, Gilded Crossbowmen, I think scale a little bit better towards the end of Castle, start of Imperial. They're so hard to reach as well. Reminder that these guys have got an extra tar range over standard crossbowmen. And the other thing that I think is scary is the potential for Inspired Warriors buff. I'm really hoping we're going to be seeing it soon from Dimmu. Makes a world of difference with these type of units. So much base damage that gets inflated by 15%. Like, actually, it's pretty disgusting on Land Snakes. Land Snakes, it takes them from Castle Age damage to Imperial Age damage, because 15% increase ends up being an extra 3.5 damage. Which, remember, you're hitting usually 3 targets plus. So it's actually like an extra 10 damage. This is not the Ravane I'm used to watching. Feels like a puppy that's been neutered. He's like, well, I mean, I was going to stand tall. I was going to aggro in. Now I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think I should be here anymore. Bit of a weird one. What's the play for Ravane to get control of the game again? I think Men-at-Arms, small group of them goes into the farms. That's still difficult, though, because Gilded Villagers are really tanky. But at least you can force them out of time, and I think you focus on teching up. Farm count is looking decent for Ravane. He's now up to, what, 22 farms? Problem is, on the other side, there's Dimmu sitting on 16 already, plus he's using the deer and the boar. We're not seeing boar and deer play out Ravane. He's solely moving towards farms. Last piece outside of farms is these berries, which aren't even buffed. He's also playing extremely wide for gold. Meanwhile, for Dimmu, his win con, direct push down the center. Order the Dragon looks best when they can choose to stage the fight in one location. They look weak when the fights go wide. Because when it's wide, you can't send as many troops because you don't have as many troops. This is why in the late game, we've seen plenty of OOTD players just lose to mass horseman flooding. They just can't keep up. Yeah, I feel bad for OOTD. Sometimes I'm like, man, these guys need marching drills in Imperial. Army is going to step up. It's weird, because I think all the Dragon do quite well at low rank as well, but it feels like they're more micro-oriented. Then you have to remember, the way we're seeing it played here isn't how you see it played at, like, low rank. Go crossbows. Are overkilling. Spear's going to come, and oh, he creates a concave! Land Snakes go in. They are starting to get target fired down, though. Decent DPS spread. Frontline is being fully sacrificed to get that poison in effect. The crossbowmen have already started to retreat away from the engagement. The archer switch from Ravane and the reveal, maybe the win con here for this direct fight. He has to reach him, though. The good news is these archers are much quicker than the crossbowmen. Smimman switch now is also a mistake from Dimmu. He's going Gilded Arch. He says, okay, I see the game plan here. And you know what? He's rightfully happy about this. Gilded Archers are really, really effective. With the scale armor, they're able to resist it all. Wait, is he ducking out? Oh, he's going Horseman. So why did he change his mind? I think it's because he saw there's no spears. If Ravane already had Vet Spearman, I think you're scared. But Ravane doesn't even have Dark Age. The Feudal Spearman, rather. He has Dark Age spears. So there's not that much threat there. The issue with Gilded Archers is, like, the scale armor tech as well slows down your pump timing. And you need quite a lot to directly contest. The Horseman detail needs to be hidden. Ravane is just so on point. How did he know? Seriously, actually, like, how did he know? The stables are all the way back here. This man's a mind reader. I guess in his mind, he looks, he says, okay, I got 50 ranged. It only makes sense that you go cavalry next. The Soul Read out of the Middle Eastern. And the horsemen are revealed. But they're revealed early. He's going to be diving past. He's looking for the Gilded Crossbow exchange. Leaves the men-at-arms deal with the horsemen. Ravane, good position. Just needs to maintain the push. Spear follow-up should be good enough to hold that back. And If he waits to reveal it, it's going to mean he'll have plenty of spearmen to address all horseman threat. At which point, Doom will wish that he went archers. Need some gilded mangonels? No, dude. We need some gilded bombards. I said this before. Why do the Ottomans get the great bombards? Also, you accusing our boy of map hacks? Bro, you better have the proof of the pudding. How dare you, sir? Smack talk like that, he's going to turn up in your pub game now with mass spearmen. Ooh. Hold on. There is a castle. Ravane. Goes to the dive in, and then realizes it's not a good idea. There's some dark history for Ravane. I've never heard of this dark history. I can tell you that if he was doing it, he's very good at being subtle when it matters. Like, for example, walking underneath the castle. If you're map hacking, like, you would have just stopped ahead of it, shot with the archers, and then walked away. Speaking of archers, Dimmu has the full switch on. Ravane. Did he see it? He did. There's an archer in there. He's already got horsemen on the way. Vetted too. And Ravane, remember, his farm count is looking pretty good now. He's up to 29. Still, you want to be up in like that 40 range because that's the stage where you can keep pushing but also attacking. I wonder. Could the Gilded Archers carry against all? He's got the scale armor. They take ages to kill. In fact, he's basically used them as a pseudo front line here to clear the spears before the horsemen recommit. Now's the go time. In they go. It only looks like a pittance, but 5 is actually enough to scare this whole army away. Look at how quickly they kill. And look at how long it takes to kill them. 310 HP. This is always a weird thing. I think that probably makes players rage quit when they face good Order of the Dragon players. You watch 5 horsemen kill half of your archers, you're like your archer marks, and I'm like, okay, why? How? That doesn't make sense in my brain. It does when you look at the stats. These guys hit for almost 40 damage into a ranged unit, meaning they will 2-hit, practically 2-hit archers and crossbows. That is the deceptive part you have to remember. Now, this has turned into a weird tier top, by the way. Both of them are trying to get the one-up on each other. That's why you're seeing so much back and forth on unit comp change. This is when Age of Empires 4 looks its coolest. Because this is when they've got all the veterancies, so they can justify an immediate pivot. Even if it's just for 2 or 3 and they're wrong, it doesn't kill their game flow anymore. Right? It's all about doing this back and forth dance, building up an equal comp, and then deciding, what do I think he's going to have next? That's the thing I'll prioritize building the most of. And then reveal it. You don't get this game state as much these days, as usually there's someone trying to sliver into Imperial. But this, man, this is cool to witness. Yeah, like what, 5 unit comps, and you never knowing what they're going to have. Yeah, I've got raids now from Ravane, so he's going on the flanks. It's kind of crazy that there isn't more eco difference between these two. Both of them having same ideas with this horseman. Who would win? All these horsemen or one spear? He knows. This guy hits for 62 damage. Don't try him. You won't like the flavor. Quite the slowdown now, though. Calming moment between the two. Ravane, he's... Well, actually, I think they're both going for an age up. They're both so close to being popped anyway, so it's the only thing left to do. I say that Ravain's still got some wiggle room, but with Burgrave, he could just fill that gap like that. The reason he doesn't want to is if he's going to be going for Pastor Schwabe, which I think he is, he wants space to fill. Still, Pastor Schwabe is kind of dangerous here. Because I think the Dimmu can just go Elsbach now. It's not the best, right? Like, you would like to have something with a bit more quirkiness to it, but you don't really need more villagers. Like, 70 to 80 villagers is pretty good for OTD. Is he getting ready to dive? He might be. He has the Inspired Warriors tech, so it'd be worth slowing down just a moment to buff up your army. The problem is, if you think your opponent is aging up right now, you don't want to go slow. You want to go faster. You start poking. I mean, why wouldn't Ravain contest you by now? Unless he was aging up. And there we go. Palace of Swabia confirmed on the way on the gold. And Dimmu. Oh my god, he must be map hacking too. Look at him go. Now, he's checking in the right area, but that's going to force the commitment. Ravain has to engage. And a fight that looks like it should easily favor Dimmu with the numbers. He's got the land snakes on the back. They're starting to poke in. They have not reached the archers just yet, though. Soon, TM. Dimmu, that back line is going to carry. The Gilded Archers are basically tanks. Yeah, against these archers. I mean, they're barely registering their damage, right? 4 out of the 9 damage going through against a squishy backline unit is a terrible exchange. And Ravain, because of that investment into Imp, he did not have the resources ready for the next wave of troops. Brutal. Palace of Swabia might be complete, but Dimmu is now in perfect position to deny its value. Dives towards the gold. His own tech up also just moments away. He likes Schwabia too. It's like that moment where they just see wearing nice rings. Like, oh, I like that ring too. Pulls out a gun. Give me the ring. You could buy one too. They're really cheap. They're 2 for 1 right now. Give me the ring. Okay. A little bit of poke here. Just to keep that Swabia basically offline. Ravain trying to cut reinforcements, but tech up now complete. Dimmu, it's a full focus on horsemen. Both of them were actually looking that way. Crossbows to be upgraded as well. He already has 20. Usually you don't really see more than 20 gilded crossbows because this is basically 40 crossbowmen. You don't often want to go beyond 40 crossbowmen in most games. 50 at maximum. So he's living within the logical constraints of how much you need here. Did he ever pull those Relic? He did. Yeah, look, he went for the emplacements like we talked about. And I think he has another one over here, right? Or was it the Ford one? Because he did have an outpost. Yeah, it's on the Ford. Oh my god. I need a new mouse. My middle mouse button is basically broken. Damn it. If he can get up to like 10 horsemen. Ravain with a soul read again. Actually, not so much a soul read. He saw the 2 ponies. He's like, oh, okay. He checked them and saw they went elite. So it's just a given at this stage. Hasn't got elite tech for his spearman, though. Looks like the Palace of Swabia was unlocked in the end. And Dimmu, he went Swabia. Yeah, he is using it. Just doesn't show as much. Overgather on gold and then ripple the text. Yep, we see it all the time from Dimmu. I think he just likes the idea of the power surge, right? Because you can either trickle it and get, oh, well, I've got like elite tech on archer. And then 3 minutes later, I got elite tech on horseman. Or you just look for that upgrade in your whole army at once to get that overwhelming win on the fight. But like, in some cases, some situations, it can make a lot of sense. This fight right here. Is this nonsensical? Or is it on point? The horsemen, they're dying too fast. He doesn't have any more. That's practically the entire cavalry. And we're back to the issue before. Gilded archers to tank this. He pulls them back. You're running into the range of these archers. This is perfect, guys. Gilded archers perform best when they stand still. Look at the attack speed. They are wiping the army again. Man, I love this crossbow archer backline. It's so smart. The crossbows will always outrange the archers, meaning your opponent has to fight into you. The only reason they wouldn't is if you play a deep Imperial and he gets the steel bowstrings. But we're not getting deep Imperial. We're getting do or die now. And Ravane, the choice has been made for him. Death has been called for. Revenge has been had for good old Benny Boy. All right. G to the G. Wheel played, boyo. All right. Ugh. Guys, I think we might end it there. Just because actually that lines up perfectly for lunch. And my throat is really starting to go. So I'd rather not be coughing my guts up all night. And instead just R&R. So that we can come back at it tomorrow. Because tomorrow we should have news to do with KPMM. So, most important thing happening all week. We'll finally have a launch date for the return to the midweek muster. So, a reminder to tune in tomorrow. We'll probably be live around like 1 p.m.-ish UK time. I think it's going to be my goal to get online. And then, midway through the stream, we should have some details to reveal around what's happening with midweek muster. So, guys, make sure you tune in then. Really important. You don't want to miss it. You'll finally know when the most successful weekly event of Age of Empires returns. Okay? So, YouTube, Kick, I'm going to end the streams now. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you follow if you haven't already. And tune in tomorrow when we will have more info coming in on what's happening with midweek muster and when our $20,000 esports circuit is going to kick back up. Thank you, thank you.